So what is going on, guys? DBG here, and today for the podcast we are joined by, well, Dale looks a bit different, but you never know because these guys do play on the same account. So if you do think you're coming up against Dale and you are in America, it's this guy. So we have got this week's Dale. Introduce yourself.
What's going on, guys? My name is Jacob, as DBG mentioned. Me and Dale, little dynamic duo, share an account. Best way to go about playing 2K this year, in my opinion. So, pretty good replacement as Dale is not here this week. So, it'll probably work out pretty well.
How did that happen that you decided to share an account? Obviously, it is such a smart decision because like I don't necessarily grind. I just pay people to grind, but like where did that how did that start?
Yeah, so of course, right when this whole entire season thing for my team came out this year, it was a big jump in things to do in my team since last year. Because last year it was you'd wait for the new 12-0 card, you knock that out the first week, if not faster, and then patiently wait for a random day for Spotlight Sims to drop. So right when season one started, I focused on Unlimited right off rip. I had Paul Pierce season one 3 days in, and then I went to Domination.
What?
Domination day one, as you remember, was awful.
What? But you already have Pierce. Why did you go for Mikan? There's no need.
Well, I wanted the center. It was right
Bill
off
Lambier.
Yeah, and I was shooting stick too, just like you
Yeah,
were. So I probably should have. I probably should have, but I just was all right, it's Domination time. So then I did that, and I was also in the school of don't worry, Curry will get outdated quick, and obviously he didn't. So I didn't do Curry. And then in my stream, it was a rolling joke, Jacob can't grind, Jacob can't do this. So, I started jokingly asking people, all right, who's gonna share an account? Who's hopping on my account? And all this kind of stuff. And Dale, one day, I think it was sometime about halfway through season 3, was yeah, I'm not taking this that seriously this year. So, if you want to just combined accounts, let's do it. And at that point, me and Dale, we got along very well, hung out in Discord every day and stuff. So it was just a no-brainer, and everything was good from there.
Yeah, that's fair. But the thing with Dale was just mental because I didn't know who he was, and then the very first time I streamed, he stream sniped me. He stream sniped me, and this is the very first day I streamed on Twitch. It was March the 14th or something. It was when I knew schools were going to shut, so I didn't really care about if I was streaming, if students were watching or anything. And then he just goes in, he starts commenting in the chat, being do you know, and listing a bunch of names of people that I grew up with, and I'm okay. I was who are you? And he was just oh no, I went to school with all them. I was okay, you went to school about 300 meters from my house.
Literally in your backyard. I'm sure you guys probably stumbled across cross paths and didn't know it probably at some point.
That's one of the things about being with how small Dublin is. There's an almost guarantee we have been in the same place at the same time.
Yeah, whether it was crossing paths, whether when you guys were out at the pub or going to school, whatever it might have been, walking down the sidewalk, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, there is no without Dublin. Dublin's tiny. You can get no traffic. You can get from one end of Dublin to the other end in 20 minutes. So there's no question about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's I kind of figured this out from your guys' whole FIBA thing that. There's really not that many people in Ireland that play 2K, is there? Overall,
No, we have a couple of stage gods, who I don't know what age they are. I don't know who they are. I don't know what they look like. I just know their PSN names. They may not even be Irish at the end of the day. We have a couple of. We have one really good pro-am player who played with us the second FIBA, who was unbelievably good. And then we had there's another guy, he plays a bit of pro-am. He was terrible in the first FIBA. He was our worst player probably in the first FIBA, but he carried us in the second FIBA. And then in terms of 5v5 my team, Like I think, I think last year I would have been the best by a good bit. Like I won our playing out championship, beating everyone by 30.
Yeah, I mean, if it's honestly probably at the point where there might be almost nobody over there because obviously the only other two people besides you that I would know of from Ireland that play my team would be Dale and Airjack, and neither of them really play the game anymore. So it's
Yeah.
like definitely slim pickings now.
Yeah, there's not like there's a lot of people that play 2K in Ireland. There's not a lot of people that play at a high level. And like
Yeah.
again, like it's anyone who wants to make like running jokes like, yes, I'm not Ty Debo, but no, I do play the game at a high level. Like
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I know you talk about it a lot on like your channel, whether it's in your streams, whatever it might be too. Like, I think it's kind of ridiculous how like if you're not top 50, like you're just trash at the game by a lot of community standards. But like most of the time, people that say that aren't all that great themselves anyhow.
no,
Because
like
you're
you
not
saw
gonna find.
you saw the wager I played after I lost to Ty. When the guy was like, wager me, it was like, wager me, you $200, you bum. And I was like, okay, send the money to a middleman, I will wager you. And I go and beat the guy on West servers. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Because anybody who's actually like that at the game is gonna more or less pay their respects to anybody who's pretty dang good, you know? Like I think everybody like if you're actually like that, you have no reason to sit there and call
Like-
other people trash. Like you just let the game speak for yourself, like how you are, you
like
know?
it's different. It's different. If like I was going out and saying I'm I'm one of the top 10 players in the world, then they would. That's when they clap back. Saying I'm in the top 30,000 people who have purchased who have ever played 2K21 is not a ridiculous statement. One, it's not ridiculous. Two, it's true. And three, like whatever. How many copies does it sell? Like 4 or 5 million copies a year?
Yeah, and like 99% of those people like couldn't survive in today's unlimited world, you know? So they don't even touch that. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Like have you been watching any of Jesser's videos? He's playing Unlimited, and before he got bumped into the low bracket SBMM, he went like 1-8, and he got demolished in every game. He couldn't even stay within 30.
If you don't play the meta on the game, like you're gonna have an incredibly tough time unless you're an extreme outlier who's probably played the game for years. Like
I don't think anymore you can. I think if I, not even me, like let's just say for example Ty stopped playing at the end of 2K20 and then came back like 2 weeks ago, or let's just say Goggles was one of the best, and like we even saw from the start, Goggles was one of the best in 2K19, he was one of the best start 2K20. We even saw when it came to 250k, like when he stopped playing for about 2 or 3 months for 250k and 20, and he didn't know any of the cheese, and he got well beaten in the first round.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't know the complete meta, you're gonna have an incredibly tough time, especially against comp level players. You know, if you played the game for long enough, if you're one of the guys who's played every year from 2K11, you might be able to boot up and do decent against an average guy. But if you play somebody who does know how to play like that, you're definitely in trouble. You know?
Yeah.
Like, because you won't know how to stop it and you won't know how to do it. So therefore, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like there's so many people like. I think one of the things that really opens your eyes up to like how mid the average 2K player is like play against some of your friends in real life, like some of your IRLs, if any of them play 2K a little bit. And like if you're one of the guys who's involved in the community, you're gonna smoke them. Like when I was in college, like I didn't play at the level I do now at all, but I was still far better than like everybody on my dorm floor. Like when we boot up 2K, you know, it'd be holy, Jacob's good, but like in reality at that point in time I wasn't that great compared to like a competitive level player, you know, like it's just like there's so many people that, you know, play the game casually, and that's okay. But
like it is kind of crazy, and I was wrong. The game sold 10 million copies by the end of 2K20, so it's probably sold, because of all the sales, probably sold at 15 million copies. So saying you're in the top 1% of players is like saying you're in the top 150,000 players in the world, and I'm pretty sure we can both confidently say that.
Yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, 100%. No doubt about it. Like, that's more. I wonder what the copies sold are before they do the end of the year sale. That's what I would want to know is what the copies
The end of
sold
the year
through.
sale is not going to happen this year, which is weird.
I wonder why.
It
I wonder
already
what their
did. It
mindset
already
is
did
behind that.
happen 2 weeks ago. $10. Like that's not an end of the
Yeah.
year sale. Like it was $5 in 2K18, $3 in 19, and free in 2K20.
Yeah, like that $10 line I think is like the double digit number of dollars kind of like isn't so little that just anybody's gonna be like, well, I'll
Yeah.
buy it. Maybe if I play, maybe I'll play it, maybe I won't. Because like I'll do that occasionally. If there's a game that's $3 or $5, I'll buy it. Maybe I'll play it. If I don't, eh, I'm out a couple bucks. You
Yeah.
know, it's like
Like
all right.
like that was the thing. Like in March of 2K20, or say in April of 2K20, it was $5 or €5 on the Xbox store. The game hasn't gone on a sale in Europe. It's €15 is the cheapest it's been in Europe. And then next gen hasn't gone on a sale, big sale at all. Next gen is still like $35.
Premium. Have they done the thing? Haven't they done it in the past before where they like email people who like have a 2K account
They
register with their
didn't do it
email?
this year. Didn't do it this year.
No, because they gave it away for free. I think last
Yeah.
year, even earlier, didn't they? Like before Christmas, was it almost like where they
October or
were
something.
emailing people? Yeah,
October.
where they email people and like, here's your free copy. Like,
Do you want to know why that was? Did you read the Did you read the report?
no,
Like the
I didn't
financial
want to think about
report. So basically, what
No.
ended up happening was, 2K pitched. 2K had so many like such a big boost in like microtransaction, when they released the game for $3. But then
Yeah.
the player base dropped at the start of 2K20, and they weren't getting as many microtransactions as they were when the game was $3. So they were trying to like they were releasing it free. Basically, anyone who had paid a load of microtransactions but hadn't bought the game yet. In the financial report, they were like, "We do not know why there has been a drop." It's like, of course you should know why there's been a drop. People are buying microtransactions because you basically made the game free.
Yeah, I wonder. Do you think they'll ever go to like a system where it's a free to play game?
They
Like, I
should.
feel like there was more talk about that when it was like Fortnite kind of took over as a free to play game and then became the biggest game. And then they made a ton of money through just cosmetics. Like if they had like actual things to buy in the game, they would have probably even made more. Honestly, in 2018, like when Fortnite was king.
Yeah.
I wonder. I wonder if I feel like that's more or less the direction of video games in a whole. All I know is I think that like any sort of revamp from the whole entire like yearly release $60 thing, I think would be good. I don't think you can move backwards
yeah,
from that. It seems like
definitely.
kind of a dated system of releasing AAA titles.
Definitely.
With
But
the
like,
way things are now.
I don't think it's worth buying the games unless you're dead set on playing the games. Like unless you're like playing a lot of them. If you play online, if you don't play online, there is no point ever buying. Buy one game every 3 years, or wait
Yeah,
till
that's what I do.
the end of the year.
Yeah, that's what I do with other sports titles. Like, I have Madden 18 or 19, and if I want to play a game of Madden, I have Madden 18 or 19. I can play a game of Madden. When was the last time that happened? I don't even remember. If I have a friend come over and they want to fire up some Madden, they at least they got a Madden they can play. You know,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, and that's the way it is with like other sports titles for me. I'll buy one for each generation of console, possibly two, and you know, it's there. You know, I got an NHL 17 or 16. If someone, for whatever reason, I got a friend over, you know, want to play against each other in NHL, we got an NHL game to play. But like, there's just no need unless you play online whatsoever.
Yeah, like that's kind of the way I would have been for a while. But it's a weird one. Like I don't really play. Like I've played a bit of FIFA and I've enjoyed FIFA, but it's got to the stage where I'm like, look, if I'm not getting content out of it, I'm not playing a video game. I'm just so burnt out on it all. Like I don't mind playing for
Yeah.
content. Like it's a lot more enjoyable than doing nothing. But I don't understand how there are people that can legitimately grind unlimited 68-0 in a week out of enjoyment.
Yeah, I really don't know either. Like, I would be if I didn't stream and everything like that. Like, I would do everything at such a slower pace, just like I did for all the years when I was not. You know, it's such a slower pace. Whenever I have a little bit of free time, I play until I get bored and turn it off. maybe I don't turn it back on for 3 to 5 to 10 days, depending on what I'm doing, you know. But I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the fact that 2K are kind of incentivizing people to play the game a little bit more. Like, I do like
Oh,
that.
I mean, it's insane how things changed from last year to this year, and it's just insane alone how things changed from season 5 to 6, or was it 6 to 7, whichever the glitch
Season,
reality was.
don't get me started on RNG reality. That was the worst season there will ever be. There was not one good, or actually no, sorry. The Bradley Beal Paul Millsap weekend was a good weekend. That was the only good thing in glitch reality. Like, it's not a mystery typing in a code backwards. That's just guessing and hoping something works.
Yeah, I know. I thought maybe at the end of the season they were gonna come out and be like, "Here's all the mysteries that you guys missed. You guys are definitely not detectives. Don't go down that field. Like, you guys missed out on all this." Like, in hindsight, it's almost worse than what I was thinking it was at the time, which was already so bad. And to top it all off, like, we got like 3 days of content out of like 10 or 12. And all the cards were like pretty awful compared to what was already in the game.
It was like,
Like,
have you looked at 2KDB? It was like, for the first like 3 weeks of the season, we were getting content like 3 to 4 days a week. And then for the last 3 weeks, it was like, no content for a whole week, idols. No content for a whole week. And we're like, what's going on? Then they had to overcompensate with warped reality. And we're like, okay. Idols was been so bad, they have to overcompensate this much. And then they don't give us content for another week and drop idols again. It's just like, no.
yeah,
What
I
have you
remember
done?
when it came out too, I was like, no, like this is perfect. Like, Ben Simmons is here. All right, this is gonna repump something into the game. And they just didn't drop anything for another week, and then by the little bit of hype that Warped Reality brought in, it was dead 3 days later because nothing else was coming out.
So I remember,
No one was doing anything.
I remember
Like,
we hadn't seen idols for like a month. So I made a video being like, I think 2K are doing something really, really smart. I think 2K. I listed there was like 17 weeks left. There's definitely gonna be like 4 promos, 2 more retros, 2 fan favorites, at least 2 out of positions. I'm like listing what everything is, and I was like, that equals 16 weeks. No way is there gonna be any more idols. They're gonna make idols midweek, and then the next 3 Fridays were idols.
yeah.
And there were idols,
But
Mello and Westbrook.
that's what I was gonna say. Like, it's like the worst idols because Prime wasn't this bad last year. Like, I think that idols is a fine concept. For whatever reason, they just didn't make them good at all. Like, it's not that hard. Like Mellow Drop would have been fine if they would have just gave him a couple of good sigs and then dropped another card in that set, other than like Billy Owens. Like, I'm sorry, nobody wants to use a Billy Owens. You can make him as good as you can.
Bosch
in the
was
game.
in that set.
Bosch too, but overall, compared to like what everyone was hoping,
Like the week
for,
before,
and
it was wedged in between Warped Reality and Out of Position.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and then the week
Like the
after
2
Warped
crazy
Reality,
sets.
I think was the worst. Westbrook.
yeah. I don't even remember what else dropped in that set because I was tucked at that point. About the season was over. I didn't have anything interest in it. I mean,
Like,
yeah,
I remember tweeting out and I was like, whatever, we knew how bad idols were. And then when we saw the Westbrook hint, when they only hit for one player, it's always idols. And I literally tweeted out and I was like, if this pack drop is idols, and if it's idols Westbrook, this is 2K is sabotaging their game. No other way.
it felt like it. It really did feel like it. It really felt like they were intentionally doing it. I mean, I don't really know. Like, obviously, you can look at the Google Trends and see it, but like, I don't really know how that even became a thing in 2K's head that would be something good to do. I'd imagine the only way that they thought that this was a good thing to do is they saw how the community got together for like Harry Dishlinger and was like, "Ooh, we can really get these guys going with some good old RNG." And like, it just didn't work. Like, the game died so fast.
I'm
Be
go-
curious to see where the game would have been by now if they just skipped that season and
Yeah,
kept going
like
the way they were.
It's only caught up right now. Like, my views are still down, But I mean, in terms of hype, it's starting to catch up a little bit. Nobody cares about new season starting. That's one thing I've realized.
Yeah.
People care. Like, a new season is just a big content drop for everybody now. Like, that's the way it's seen as. A new season, it's no longer, oh, we have a new thing to play for, because they know there's not going to be a new game mode.
Yeah.
It's just literally, it's just a big content drop.
Spotlights was good. Full Throttle was good. I think that
Full Throttle was great.
They had to do that to catch back up in any sort of way. Like, if somebody like me, like, my account's loaded, like, like I play meta, I use the meta cards, etc., etc. But I even have to say, like, a lot of that stuff they were dropping was pretty good. Like, free Zion, free Steve Nash, like,
even
just
free
stuff
Kenny
like that
Walker. Even free Kenny Walker was good. Klay Thompson based on very quick. He was even good. Like, free George Mike, and they were all good cards.
I think Kenny Walker would have been more hyped if they just didn't mess up with his SIGs right off bat. I think like the majority of people checked his SIGs the morning he was released and were like, wow, this is the worst card ever. And then like by the time they fixed it, everyone was like, nah, forget about it. I feel like if they would have just dropped him with Claybase right off the bat, like people would have been sending out tweets like, holy, we get like a free Claybase card with Pro 2 and shit.
He's 6'8 Clay. He's a free 6'8 Klay Thompson. Like, he's exceptional. Yeah. He's exceptional.
Yeah. Yeah. He definitely is. And he had XP too. I mean, if that was your thing, I think he had pretty good XP if I remember right. Like 2,500 at least, something like. Yeah. Good job. For like a Tuesday or Thursday or whatever day it was, That's all you need. You just need to drop one card a day just to keep people somewhat engaged. I mean, obviously for people like us too, it's really good for, content. Like at least you have something to talk about every day.
Definitely. Where did you get the Ben Wallace thing, by the way?
Oh, behind me?
Yeah.
The Ben Wallace poster? I pretty much just did it all myself. Like I had like a local print shop do the picture, and then I just ordered the framing off Amazon. I actually I hit some goal on Twitch. I forget what it was. So I did another one as well. I got the Pink Eyes Luca printed off and framed, and then I gave that away to a sub on Twitch. So it was pretty cool. They turned out really nice. They turned out very nice. If fingers crossed Ben Wallace ever gets an invincible card, we'll be getting that one to go next to the hero card.
You know what? I might do that again. Like I've said, like again, I'm house hunting at the minute. I might do that in my office. Just get like Hito Turkoglu, Dean Wade, get all the iconic cards.
The iconic cards for you, yeah, like 2K19 Hidu.
What would it be? It would be 2K19 Hito, 2K20 Dean Wade. And I'm not sure who. I don't think there's anyone that's been iconic enough for this year.
You dumb!
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I forgot. Or
Pick Diamond Iverson. Pick Diamond Iverson would be funny too.
That might be a bet with Ty at some stage. I might. When I get into the new house, I'll have things behind me and I make a bet that if I beat him, he has to have a Pink Diamond Iverson poster. He has to replace his cat jersey in his office that hangs up with a Pink Diamond Iverson poster.
That would actually be great. Be great.
Or give Isaac a bit of money to send it to Ty as a birthday present or something. Pink Diamond Iverson.
Make sure to be like, put a note on the box like, open this on stream or something.
That is actually a very funny idea.
Yeah, that would be great. I love how you and Ty interact and everything like that. Like it's great content. Like you and Ty's wagers and everything. That stuff brings the community together. It's really good.
Yeah, like I'm not good enough that I can get it hyped up as this grudge match as like from a competitive standpoint. So I have to put something ridiculous on the line. Like, no, if we play it for $300, no one will care because it's just me donating to Ty. But if we play for my beard, people will care.
Exactly. And like the WWE style promo videos and everything like that they're just great to watch. And Ty does such a good job when you do yours, Ty's reaction's always great. Like he's just I don't know, it's funny.
That like they are funny, but I will say it like of people, there are like maybe 3-4 people in the community that me versus them would be more of a draw than me sitting there reading stats. Like, just in terms of, there are very few people that I could play against that will pull in more viewers than me just sitting there reading stats. Like, obviously, Ty is one, and Ty is the only one of those people who will go back with the pre-game trash talk, because without that, it's not going to hype up the game at all. He's the only one that will actually go back at me with that. So I'm like, yeah, grand. Caldy did as well, but Caldy doesn't have the draw that he used to. If I would have played, like me and Caldy, we've meant to play so many years, and that's how myself and Caldy interact non-stop on Twitter, just insulting each other.
Yeah, each other, yeah. It's actually hilarious. Like, it's crazy because, like, that whole, like, 2017, 18, like, back in those days, that's crazy because I was just, like, so far on the outside looking in. Like, I would, like, read all these tweets and stuff between all these people, even in 2k19. And it's just crazy how here I'm sitting talking with somebody who I knew you existed for 5 years before you knew I existed. Like, it's just weird how all that turned out.
I'm pretty sure the first time I ever interacted, like, I'd seen your name around. I'm pretty sure the first thing I ever said was you tweeted a picture of you going like 68-1, and I replied with like, you should be called Beatable Jacob.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's the first thing I said to you.
I remember that too.
You lost one game.
Yeah. That was so fun though, man. Like, that whole 68-1 run was like, it was just fun because I didn't expect myself to go 68-1. It was like the first time record showed up, so like, it was fun, you know. I thought it was cool. Like, the whole record showing thing definitely has lost its appeal, but it was definitely fun for season 1.
It was.
You were
it was
the same.
And then
68-0.
Yeah, I ended season 1 like 97-0. And season 2 42-0, and I just said, you know what, I'm not bothered. Like, I just wasn't getting Patrick Ewing.
Yep, I was in the same boat. Patrick Ewing was the only unlimited card I missed all year because I was just like, nah, I'll get my pink diamond box and move on. I forget who I was using as center back then, but it was far better than Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, I didn't even do that. I think I just naturally played 20 games, and then Mullen, I think, was needed. You need to get a certain amount of wins to get Chris Mullen.
Oh, that was season 2.
Do you remember when remember in season 1 and season 2 and season 3 they did that? Where in the middle of the season, if you won like 100 games of triple threat, you get this player. If you won 50, you got this player, and if you won 20 unlimited. They did that in the middle of all the seasons. I'm pretty sure I did that and I got Mullen. I didn't lose a game on current gen until January.
Yeah.
And that loss, I had a meltdown on stream. And it's recorded and it's everywhere. I'm just looking, I'm like, I will never, that rant is the one reason I will never be able to teach again. Because someone will find that. So basically somebody said something in chat, and I don't know who it was. I didn't find their name, but they said they had this like big long message, and it's like, you notice there's like certain things that will just actually hurt you. That said, like, you don't, like, you suck DBG, you're trash, like, that's nothing. But like, this guy, like, this is before everything started going bad. This guy had a, like, it was just, I can't remember exactly the way it was worded, but it was like really below the belt, and it was one of the ones that really hit hard. And then all the, like, you're a trash DBG. I was using Ruby Nick Anderson against a dude with like Chris Webber at the time, who was unguardable, and he had like Chris Webber, Magic Johnson, Kevin Durant. He had, next thing, I was down like 1 point with 2 minutes to go, and whenever I lost, turned the ball over, lost. I go berserk at the chat, and like, it's worth, what I said sounds worse than what I'm saying it now, but it was like, I just saw red and was like, this is, but that rant is the only reason I will never be able to teach, because you can't take it down off the internet.
Yep, if it's on the internet, it's there forever. I think people learned that many years ago. Like, nothing will slide under the rug. I feel like if you stream long enough on Twitch, eventually, if you stream long enough on Twitch, eventually you're gonna have a bad day when you're live, and it's gonna just be there forever. It's inevitable. You can't. The thing is, with like YouTube videos, you can kind of you can only upload your highest points. You can only upload your good stuff. You have a bad video, you don't have to upload it. Something bad happens.
Time. And the worst is that because you know the way there's like, because I was playing on stream delay because I didn't want to be stream sniped. So like the message that I was actually reacting to going getting so angry at, it's not seen. So like it's me on someone.
Buried.
It's like it's buried. So the chat like is there when the guy's recording. I'm just telling one guy specifically to go f himself. So it's like everyone whose sole purpose for being in this chat is to give me a hard time, get the f out of here. Like I'm going mad, and I'm just looking. I was like, half the comments are like nothing, like not even bad. The stuff that's being commented at that stage, but I'm like, yeah, it's like 20 seconds ago. So it's like I wish the comments for why I was reacting like that were seen in that video, but it's like obviously I could have said 100 times worse. Like. Heck, that wouldn't even crack the 50th percentile of Wings of Redemption streams.
Yes, you read my mind.
Or Dark Side Phil streams, like that's an hourly occurrence in a Wings of Redemption stream. What happened? But it's like, nah, I couldn't.
Yeah. Wings has gotten a little better. I watched a little Wings. He's gotten a little better. I think. I think it's better than it was. I mean, that's not saying a whole lot, but
that's the show, though.
2018.
That's the show. Yeah, you only watch them to go mental.
Yup. You just wait for the moment. I swear, at least 80% of the people watching him will leave if they see that he's having a good day.
Yeah.
Like.
And that's the scary thing. Like, if he was a better actor, he would have made so much money off that.
Yeah, the thing is, I think he made a ton of money off his pre-YouTube days, and I think I can't judge from the outside looking in, but it looks like he mismanaged it pretty poorly.
He didn't make a ton of money. He made good money. He didn't make a ton. He had about 3 years where he was probably making 6 figures.
Yeah,
which is good, really good money. But I mean, you're not going to survive more than if you make 100 grand 1 year. Where he's living, that's probably enough to survive off for 3 years.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, South Carolina, I think, is like one of the cheapest living. It's cheap to live down there. I know like minimum wage is cheap down there and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, Dublin's just a joke for living in. It's like one of the most expensive cities in the world to live in, but the average wage is really low. It would be like imagine if in New York City the average wage was like $30K. Imagine expecting you to pay New York rent with the average person earning $30K. Like, it doesn't. I don't understand how I was looking at like the average wage and the average cost of living is like, I don't understand how that's possible in Dublin. Like, it's just weird.
Do they have like quite a few what would you call it? Like, do they have like quite a few different places in Dublin where it's like people have very, very small apartments, like incredibly small apartments, and pay egregious prices for them?
I mean, a studio apartment is like, or a 30 square meter apartment. I'll try to get a square foot for that. Don't use the metric system for some reason in America.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at converting it as well.
Like I can convert meters to feet, not square meters to square feet. So, a 300 square foot apartment in Dublin, in a decent area, is probably $1,200 a month, which is about $1,500 a month. Like, it's not, it's not quite good area in Manhattan expensive. It's maybe not like Santa Monica in LA expensive or some parts of San Fran, but it would be as expensive. It would be pretty much as expensive, not far off.
I don't know, man. I think there's a lot to be said for like living in places where it's like low cost of living. Like, eventually, years down the line, what I would like to do is get a job where I can work remotely and then live somewhere where it's like pretty rural, cheap to live, but not like a bad place to live, where there's like things I can do outdoors and stuff like that.
Yeah, like,
I don't
know. Like, I'm just in
my rent bill's high.
Yeah, like, I'm just in a weird position because I'm looking to buy, and I always think where I was like, if I go 2 hours outside of Dublin, I could buy a 7-bed mansion and still for 200k less than what I'm looking to pay right now for a house.
What's your main reason you want to stay in Dublin? Is it your family's close by, or do you just want to be
Yeah,
near
it's just
things?
convenient. It's just convenient, and like my whole thought process is, whereas like if I really want to stay in Dublin for these reasons, that kind of that's there's other people that want to be in Dublin for the exact same reasons. So like I can't really be that annoyed. Like it's supply and demand. There's just so much demand. In Ireland,
Yeah.
like there are certain areas like Cork, Galway, like I probably wouldn't move up to Belfast. Actually Belfast isn't bad. But like outside of those places there's nothing really going on in Ireland. Like
Yeah.
you're a couple of hours away from anything.
Yeah. See, and I don't mind that too much. I grew up in a very very dead part of Michigan, you could say. Um, I don't mind it too much being kind of recluse as long as I'm able to like get my groceries and stuff like that. Um, I think if anything, it kind of makes it more exciting when you actually do go to the city if you're not living there. Because I remember when I was younger and I would go downstate to like Piston games or things like that. It was like a huge event, and I was so excited for it. But now that I like live in the city, it's like catch a game, whatever, like
Yeah.
it's not as exciting for me. I don't mind it. That's
Yeah.
just where I grew up too.
Yeah.
So, and I like doing outdoor stuff. I like the nice, woods type stuff, bonfires, things like that. I like the more peaceful kind of setting, honestly.
Yeah, like I live in one of probably in terms of convenience on like in my side of Dublin, it's the most convenient area possible. And it's like I grew up and lived here my whole life and it's hard to move away from convenience. Like there are I think 10 high schools within a 2 mile radius where I live. Um there are 3 basketball clubs that are within a 15-minute walk from where I live. For like GAA, the club that I play for is a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
My old tennis club is a 10-minute walk, and if I want to change tennis clubs, I walk 10 minutes the opposite direction. There's
Yeah.
I'm a 30-second walk from a bus stop with like 3 buses that goes directly into the city centre in 15 minutes, like, or I can walk there in 30 minutes. Like it's probably, and it's not quite close enough to the city that it is the city. Like it's still technically the suburbs, but Dublin is so small that it's kind of like I'm not even gonna say the first area, but it is one of the first areas as you go out from the city in the north direction. Like that would be considered suburb, not necessarily in the city. So like it is like,
Yeah.
oh, it's hard to move away from convenience, and like I'd be moving a little bit further out. It's like I can't afford to buy right here, but it's like Dublin's so small that me saying, oh, I'm gonna move a little bit further away is moving a 10-minute walk away.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, I would like to visit Europe someday because I don't have a very good grasp on like what it's like over there at all. I actually, uh, like my family's Polish, so like my great great grandfather moved over in 1931. So I have a lot of family that some of my not like kind of distant family keeps in touch with in Poland. I know a lot of them go over there to meet them, and I plan to do that before COVID. And I kind of wanted to like check out everything in EU. Really, it just
Yeah,
would be cool to
Po-
experience. But
I'm just gonna tell you that Poland and Ireland is like Ireland. It would be a lot closer to America than Poland would be to Ireland.
what are some of the key differences you think? Just the way people interact and stuff, or just the way the cities are set up and things like
Just
that?
everything. Like Ireland would be in just the way people are. Ireland and England would be closer to America than like France would be to Ireland, or France would be to England. Like mainland Europe and Ireland and England are completely different. I think it's a lot of I think it's mainly because obviously we're English speaking, so the vast majority, so a lot of our media does come from the States as well. Like so,
Yeah, has an impact for sure. I mean, I just always thought it was kind of strange, like out of like all the 2K community, like the people that I got along with best. I don't want to say got along, but the people that I became good friends with through the 2K community, most of them are from like EU, like
yeah,
Jack and Dale, like obviously, like
Yeah, I love the Europeans. like I'll even say it, like, even though obviously in terms of videos, myself and Ty, like that's the way it kind of seems like we both have like our separate friend groups. Like obviously we both still get along really well, but it's like Ty obviously has his friend group with like Isaac, T-Mars, C-Mars, T-Mars, like that kind of those kind of guys. For myself, it would be like Dale, and like I get on really well with all the EU Pro Am guys. So like.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're the guys
Sam
that,
and them.
like, yeah, like Sam, Harry, Jordy, and in the Spanish, I love the Spanish guys are lovely, like Rafa and Mario. Like
Yeah.
it's
I saw you got that Mario jersey. That's pretty neat.
yeah,
Got the
yeah. I
Mario
don't
jersey.
know how much it's gonna cost me in the end. I wonder what the import duty on it's gonna be.
I saw shit you posted the price down. It was like $50 for shipping. I was like, "Woo, man."
It costs $60 for the jersey, and if I end up paying less than $150, I'd be shocked.
Wow.
Yeah,
How does that work? Because
import duty.
yeah, I'm just curious. Do in America do we not have that? Because I'll buy like counterfeit or knockoff jerseys from like DHgate. I'm sure you're familiar with. But,
They
like,
half the time they get seized in Ireland. They don't. You can't even get them into Ireland. They'll get seized in customs.
huh? Yeah, because that's still like dirt cheap even after shipping for like me to get that. And I don't care what anybody says. I have a couple of real jerseys and the authentic shorts.
Good
and I have
ones.
a couple
Good fakes are the
ones.
same. Good fakes are the same. Bad fakes are bad. Good fakes are the same.
Absolutely. If I laid out 3 fake jerseys and 3 real jerseys behind me and had anybody come in off the street and trying to decide which ones are real and which one's fake, they would have not a clue. It'd be a guessing game. It would be a legitimate guessing game. They look the exact same, down to the tags, stitching, everything.
Yeah, the only
So that's like
whatever about, like, sure, half the time they're made in the same factories. The one thing that I always find hilarious with fakes is like I don't actually, I technically do own a pair, but it's because I got scammed. And they were bad fakes. I knew I got scammed. Someone said they were doing. Someone owed me. Basically, I did someone a favor, and they said, "Look, as a thank you, I can get you a pair of Travis Scott Air Jordan 1s for retail." Because he knew someone obviously that had them. Obviously, he just sent me a fake pair and said, "Look, these are thing." And I was like, "These are the most fake things I've ever seen." It was like the ticks are different on the two shoes.
oh man, yeah.
But,
I've seen some pretty terrible fakes online where it's like the Jumpman logo is like his head's cocked back, like sideways, like.
But like one of the things is so funny though, where it's like, whatever. But the shoe reselling is like, oh yeah, like you shouldn't be like, I can't believe people go out and wear fakes. Like, yeah, people with robots have bought up the shoes that everyone wants to own. So their only way of getting the shoes is by getting fakes. Like if you want to go out and wear a pair of shoes, and you don't, like, you're not going to spend, like, I'm just going to say this right now. If you're paying $1,000 for a pair of shoes, you're just paying, I think it's too much.
I agree. I mean, unless you like legitimately have expendable income,
Yeah.
to the point where if you're wearing those $1,000 shoes, you walk out and put those $1,000 shoes onto the floorboard of a $300,000 to $500,000 car, and then when you walk into your house, you take your shoes off and put them on a floor mat inside of your multi-million-dollar house, then like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money or even judge you for that. But, if you got yourself a nice little $2,000 pair of shoes and your rent costs $500-$600, I mean, it's like, oh man, I hope you really enjoy putting those on your feet. Like,
no. The worst people I've ever heard are the ones that they won't wear the shoes. They just have the shoes sitting there and looking at them. Their shoes are too expensive. They always say there'll be an occasion to wear them, and there never is an occasion. But them people complaining about people getting fakes, and it's like, well, it's like, you don't even wear the shoes. Like,
yeah,
I think you're just annoyed that you paid $2,000 for a pair of shoes you don't wear. Heck, if you want to keep those ones on ice, go and buy a pair of fakes. Destroy the fakes. Everyone knows you own a real pair. No one's gonna question it.
Yeah,
you can keep your real pair. If you buy real pairs and you have real pairs of the shoes, no one's gonna question it. It's like when Karl Anthony Towns was spotted wearing some of the fakest shoes ever. He wore like off-white Jordan, like all the beige ones, the Halloween ones, and they were like so obviously fake. Whereas like no one's even gonna say it. It's like, dude, he's worth whatever 100 million. It's like, who cares if he's wearing fake shoes? Like,
Yeah. Like, oh well. I mean, no one outside of like people who are actual sneakerheads will even care to look anyhow. Most of the time, you know, like if you walk inside of a room with a pair of fake shoes, like unless there's like a real sneakerhead in there, no one's gonna know the difference, like at all.
and most of the time, they can't tell the difference without taking off the shoe and looking at the inside tags or checking the sole of the shoe to see if it has if there's any noticeable things where it's like, unless you examine a shoe, you can't tell. Like obviously obviously I think there is problem with like the whole counterfeit things. Like obviously that is illegal. Like it's one of the situations where it's like it's illegal, but I don't know if it's immoral to wear them. There are things that are legal and immoral. I think it's illegal, obviously. So I obviously don't advise anyone to do anything that's illegal, but it's not. I don't think it's immoral doing it.
Is it illegal to purchase, or is it just illegal to distribute?
I don't know.
Fake here.
I don't know.
I mean, obviously, it's not like a cop's gonna walk down the street and ticket you for having a pair of fake off-whites, but like, you know, like, I wonder what the actual ruling is for that. I have no clue.
They'll send Yeezy Buster down to the station to check whether those Yeezys are real or fake. He actually is the best. He managed to make a career of just guessing whether stuff are real and fake. The fakes are so good, he has no idea. He's literally just sitting there guessing.
Is he like a Twitter page, a Yeezy Buster? Is this
Yeezy
like,
Buster.
It rings a bell.
No, like he started off.
It rings a bell.
He's an Instagram page, I'm pretty sure. But he started off just like saying whether people's Yeezys were real or fake. And like good fake Yeezys, you literally can't tell. He has 700,000 Instagram followers. He has like an entire thing about verifying. His second last picture is him with Drake. He has just posted.
Let me look at one.
Okay,
Yeezy
sorry,
Buster.
April Fool's Day. I was looking, I was like, it's April the 2nd. I was like, April the 2nd. I was like, okay, that's Irish time. I was about to say, I was like, surely he didn't post a picture saying Kanye is wearing fake Yeezys. That's a great April Fool's joke. That is a great April Fool's joke. Yeezy Buster, you deserve 700k followers just for that joke.
That is top April Fool's joke. That's actually hilarious. He probably has all sorts of connections for real shoes now too. I bet you people send him shoes all the time just to have.
Yeah, I grew out of not that I grew out of it. COVID, I didn't leave my house, so I stopped caring. Like me and shoes, I got bad towards like the end of 2019. Like I would.
Yeah, I stopped caring after I started playing basketball. That's when I stopped caring. I really like to have basketball shoes that I thought were really sweet. So I'd buy like, special edition Kobe colorways and things like that. I'd play in them a little bit, and then I'd move on to the next pair, and then those shoes would become like casual shoes. But then after I stopped playing basketball, I just kind of stopped caring.
Yeah, that was kind of the same. Like I bought 4 pairs of basketball shoes my last year, and I didn't wear. I barely wore any of them, so I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna stop now.
Yeah, when I played in high school, we had like team hyper dunks. So like, I was like, all about like just having multiple other shoes to practice in, and I'd buy them sometimes and be like, I'll just keep practicing in my other shoes or whatever. Or just wear an older pair of hyper dunks I had, and then I just like be like, nah, we're just gonna wear these to school or whatever.
Wait, did your team get shoes?
Yeah, we had team hyper dunks.
Man, we won our national championship, and we thought we were great because we all bought matching socks for the final. For the national championship final, couple of thousand people there in the stadium. Like trying to think, 3, 5, 6 people on the floor. I'm pretty sure I had offers to go play college ball in the States at different stages. Some of them, I think 5 ended up playing the States at different stages. We were chuffed. We won. We were chuffed when we all had matching socks.
What'd you guys have? Like, were they like
black Nike
Elite socks? Or?
Oh yeah, like none of us ever owned a pair of Nike Elites because at that stage you couldn't get them in Ireland. So we all paid the shipping to get them all shipped in from America. And it was like the biggest deal ever.
The Nike Elites in like 2000, 10 to 12 was like the biggest thing. Like if you wanted to be a hooper, you had to have the Nike Elite socks, like the ones with the bars on the back.
Yeah.
Those were like all the rage. Like people would wear them with slides. Like it was all that. I still have a ton of pairs of them.
I have so many of them. I have so many Nike Elite socks sitting in my house.
Yep. I remember my senior year, I think like one of our homecoming themes was like Neon Nights, it was called. One of our homecoming themes. So for the basketball game that night, we all got the neon Nike Elite socks and wore those. It was like pretty, I mean, obviously we didn't have the problem with iron. Like they were very, very accessible, like $14 a pair or something, you know?
Yeah, I went to New York when I was 17, and we went to like an outlet in New Jersey called Jersey Gardens, and we basically, or like my family did, but I went into the Nike shop and it was like $6 for Nike Elites. I think I bought 10 pairs.
Yeah,
and I still have half of them. But like it's funny, like when I went to America on that trip, every bit of clothing that I bought still fits. Like anything I've owned since I was 15 years old still fits me. So I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. I'm not in that boat at all. Because I ran cross country and track, so I was thin. I was very thin in my high school days. I was like 145 to 150 pounds. And now I'm like floating around between 170 and 175. I pretty much went up a size everywhere since my high school days.
Yeah, like I didn't until COVID. Like I came into COVID at like 200-ish. I'm at like 215-ish now. But like that's like 2 months worth of practice and deciding to actually eat properly away from getting back down. Like my playing weight's around 200, but like I would have been 190 going like between 190 and 200 in high school from the time I was 16.
Yeah.
Like I was
grow very early.
I was a 185 pound national shot put medalist, like 11.3 second 100-meter runner who could occasionally dunk the ball when I was 15. I was 14. I was 14.
Do they have the, I'm sure they do, like the decathlon type stuff over in Ireland for track? Like if you were able to sprint that fast and throw a shot, you probably could have like threw together like a decent enough 400 meter and 1600 meter run and try to throw a javelin and done well. Right?
Ours are different. I was leading through 3 events in our like combined event, and then I just got smoked because I was not a good high jumper. And like shot doesn't get you that much, like because it's based on points. Like the gap between being like an Olympic level shot putter and being like a good high school shot putter is like night and day. So like I would have thrown, I think we were at this stage when I would have done that, say I would have thrown like 14 meters in shot put, and then the second place would have been like 9 or 10 meters or something, and then everyone was between like 10 and like 5 meters. But the gap between, say, last place and me was smaller than the gap between me, who finished like somewhere in the middle in hurdles, versus the top in hurdles, because one of the best hurdlers, like hurdles destroyed me, high jump destroyed me, and like 2 horrendous events because there was 2, like some of the guys were elite at them and I was out. I had to like, we ended on an 800 meter run, and I was like talking to my coach, and it was like with the time I was expected to run like my stamina was never good, so I was expected to run about like 215 to 220, which is not a good time. Like it's not a good time for a runner, but like for a basketball player who's never ran it before, it's not a bad time.
No, it's not terrible at all. Like not that bad at all.
No, but it was.
No.
I basically went into it and was told, if I wanted any chance, I would have to run 157.
Yeah, 157's moving. That's moving. Like that's
the guy who won it in like 158, and like he was a sub 200 meter runner. So my coach just goes to me before and was like, he was like, you've lost, but the only chance you have is by beating this guy who's like one of the best runners in the country, best 800 runners in the country. And he was like, okay, you stick with him. I stuck with him through about 550 meters and then just died. I ran like
Yeah.
I ran like 2:30, and I just remember trying as hard as I could, and just seeing everyone jogging past me, and I'm like, I had nothing in me. I was like, oh nope. And then as soon as I finished, right to the back of the track, vomit for 5 minutes.
Man, those track vomits definitely hit different. Those are brutal, especially on a hot day.
Have you
Whew.
have you ever ran 400 hurdles?
No, no, not a shot.
Ran
I
it,
was not good at hurdles. Like,
ran it twice, vomited after both of them.
ugh.
And like my technique was horrendous, so I was like jumping way higher than I should have. Like my 400
Yeah.
time, basically I was a good enough 400 runner, but like to qualify out of like my region to get into like there's like, say we had like North Leinster and then Leinster, and then it would be All Irelands, and two would get through from each. But to qualify out of North Leinster, I would have needed to be running like 51 seconds, or I wouldn't need to run about around 50. And I was probably like a 52-second 400 runner, so I had no chance. I was like, screw it, I'm going to run 400 hurdles. Barely any train, ran like 60, which isn't a good time at all. But there was just nobody else in the
60.
competition. And then was just vomiting for
60
like hours.
60 seconds for a 400 meters sounds pretty decent. Like, I don't really know. I know there was like on my college track team. I think that's like what some of the top females were running. And like that might sound
Yeah.
like, if you're on a track person, might sound like, huh, you're with a girl. But like,
No,
like,
it's good. Like 60. Like I couldn't. If I trained for a month right now in the shape I'm in, I couldn't run a 60. If you picked a random NBA player, they probably couldn't run a 6400. But it's bad if you are training for 400. If you get me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yep,
like a
100%.
12-second 100-meter time. You are faster than 95% of the population, but you are incredibly slow for a sprinter.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
like it's that type of thing, where it's like 12 seconds would mean you'd be last in almost any decent track meet. But
Yeah.
you're the fastest of all your friends. Like
Yep.
that's the type of thing. Like I would, but no, 60s female 460 is good. That's very good.
Yeah. I mean, that was like the, Division II track on scholarship females,
Yeah, that's a very very solid time. But yeah, I just
Yeah.
know the guys that I was like competing against where it was like if I wasn't getting sub 50, not necessarily sub 50, I wasn't getting around like 50, 51, I didn't stand a chance. So I was like, try find another event. Got through in 4 hurdles, and man, like I got through my region to the Leinster, and like everyone there had trained for it, was like training for 400-meter hurdles, and weren't just like a 400, an average 400 runner that just happened to be in a weak region. And I got smoked. I was last by so much. It was bad. It was bad.
I wish track had a little more popularity. I really do. I enjoyed my time running track. I don't know. It feels like it was more popular back in the day, like before our times. It was here, from my understanding, anyways. I wish it had a little more popularity, because I think it's kind of cool how like you can do track, but then also do other sports, and it's just like a good test of athleticism. There's events for everybody,
Yeah.
I think track meets are just it's a good day out on the track, man. Track meets a good time. You got your time between your events, or even if you're here to watch, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah, I loved doing it when I was in school. I loved it as a school event because like it was probably like it was the sport. It's shot put. It ended up being the sport that more so than anything. Like I didn't need the points for college, but basically, actually, for in Ireland, if you don't know, for our college system, we're all granted our college places. We're all numbers. We're not like we all sit a bunch of exams, and we don't put our names on any of the exams. We just put numbers. They're all graded by like impartial people. We put numbers on our exams, and depending on what percent you get in the exam, you get a certain amount of points, and whoever gets the most points gets into certain courses.
That's kind of
So like if you could be the richest person ever and go to the best school, but if you do badly in your exams, you're not getting into college.
you're not getting that. Yeah, it's definitely not that way here. I mean, it's a lot of I think it like the Ivy League schools here, like I think you can be like grandfathered in. Like I think
Yeah.
that like if your grandpa went to Harvard or whatever it might be, I think that like as long as you're like mediocre, I think that like you get like a grandfather clause to get in. Like it's
Yeah,
definitely a,
it's
and then obviously money talks as well. Like
yeah, like I think you can eventually get into the colleges in Ireland, but it's like you'll have to like say a year at high school, you'll have to do like some like community college course, and then if you happen to like know someone in the college, they'll say, oh, you can transfer from a different college, but it's all done by a point system,
yeah.
and we all get graded. Everyone in the country gets graded. Every like equivalent of high school senior, we all sit exams at the exact same time. We all sit the same exam at the same time, and we all get points. But it's like for my one when I went in, I needed like it's out of 600 or 625. I needed 500 for my course, and I knew I was going to need around that. But like I had a points concession if I needed it. Like I got 525 in the end, so I got it comfortably enough. But like from athletics, I would have had 80 spare points. So if I got like 420, I would have gotten say a sports scholarship in to the college from that. Like
Oh, so that definitely helps weigh it. Like, I mean, I'd
yeah,
imagine if like the minimum was 500 and you can get 80 from sports, like you
yeah.
probably can be quite a bit worse on your tests compared to other people.
Yeah, 80 sounds like a lot, and it is, but it also isn't a lot. Like 420 is still not easy. You know, in Ireland it's not easy.
Uh,
Like
Makes
that's
sense then.
like the average is 300.
Yeah, we just have all we really go off of here. Well, where I grew up, anyways, I'm pretty sure it's how it is like nationwide. Is like you have your GPA from high school, and then you take like either the SAT or the ACT, which is like a very, uh, I don't even know how it
I
works
sat
really.
I sat the SAT. I sat an SAT because I was looking to go play, do a year in
In
prep school.
America. Yeah. I mean, it's just like I only took it once. I know like a lot of people will take it like two or three times. And it always kind of blew my mind because like there was a lot of students who weren't very good in school, didn't seem that bright, like, like at least like when it comes to like academics type stuff, and they do well. And there's also people who would study their wife away for it and then do pretty poorly. Like,
It's an intelligence check. It's an intelligence test more than anything. You can only prep so much. Like
yeah.
I looked at the format of the test and then just sat it. Um, and I don't know. I think I got it well enough. Did you do when you were doing it? Was it when there was out of 2400 or 1600?
I did the ACT.
Oh, okay.
So it's there's a conversion chart out there. It's like they're both like the two. I think that like the school I went to does SATs, and I think the ACT might be like a little bit dated, but they're essentially like if you like look at like college applications or whatever, it's like they substitute for each other. At least they did when I was going through the process, and I knew it was like that prior, but I don't know, maybe the ACT's outdated by now. I was talking almost 7 years ago now, so
Yeah, because I remember I was half considering trying to go over to like England or Edinburgh, and I was like looking at the amount of points I need a certain amount of A's, which I knew I wasn't gonna get in our exams, and like I think I got like 2100 in the SATs, and I was like looking, I was like I could possibly use my SAT score to get into these instead of my actual exams.
exactly, yeah. And I don't know. It's because like here in the States too, like they have like almost like criminally low like SAT or ACT scores for like the entry to like most schools. Like if you want to get into any school in Michigan that isn't the University of Michigan, you don't even need to be above average with that. It's like it's not difficult. And then I mean, there's probably ways around that as well. I mean, you can just keep taking it too. You can just keep
Yeah,
taking it.
yeah, you can take our exams, our leaving cert as many times as you want, except you sit 7 subjects, and it's an average of like 4 hours per subject, and they're only sat one time a year, so you have to wait a year to sit them again. But
Yeah.
it's the most common nightmare amongst people in Ireland, and you can ask Dale about this. That you are having a nightmare that you have to sit your leaving cert, and you haven't prepared for your leaving cert. That you haven't looked at your books in all these years, and you're being told you have to resit your leaving cert again. It is the most common nightmare amongst Irish people.
How long does it take? Like total.
We do 2 years of school, and at the end of the 2 years, you you sit 7 subjects, and at the end you have a big exam for all the subjects. And the exam, every paper is at least 2.5 hours long. You have 2.5 or 3 hours, and some subjects have 2 papers. So I think it's something like 23, 24 hours worth of exams in a 2-week period at the end of 2 years, and nothing you've done in the 2 years matters apart from these exams. You can have a panic attack and fail an exam, even if you're a straight A student, and then nothing you've done for the 2 years matters outside of that exam.
And now you have to wait a whole year to do it again?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's brutal for someone that's like young. Like, obviously you want those kind of standards for like law school or medical school, if not even more high. But like for somebody that's young, man, that's tough. Like a lot of people that are that age fold under pressure pretty easily.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh, but like no question about that. Like that's one. Thankfully, that was one of the things I always tested very well. I always did a little bit better than I should have up until college because, well, Jesus, you should have seen some of the crap that I used to send in as college work. It was bad. Like I was doing this
pretty terrible.
I was doing this full time, and like a lot of my stuff was during COVID, where I was working 16 hours a day, and I was like writing half asleep. I remember I had my sister proofread one of the things, and she was just like, "You do realize you have like a paragraph here in the middle of your like essay that doesn't actually like it's not even like properly constructed sentences. It's like the rest of it's fine. It's just one random thing in the middle that doesn't make sense." I was like, I don't remember writing this. Let's just delete all that. Like I would be in such a like daze writing myself that I'd be just putting words onto a page.
Just throwing anything out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always the type of guy in college where like I would walk in and go absolutely ham on everything for like 2 days out of the week, and then I wouldn't be worth a damn the other 5 days of the week because I'd be hungover or just not trying to do schoolwork, so I didn't do nearly as well as I could. I was constantly just playing catch up with myself. But once I did lock in, like I would normally give you 2 or 3 days out of the week where it was from sun up till after sundown, where I was just locked doing my thing.
You got about 3 days a semester out of me. I know when I was good when I went into college, and once YouTube became my full-time job, I was like, I do not want to teach. The only thing I'm becoming qualified for is teaching. Why the hell am I here?
Yeah,
but
and
I did.
You didn't do it for very long.
It did help. I will say the biggest thing I learned in college was how to get work done when you don't want to do it. And that's the toughest thing on YouTube. Like everyone's like, how do you get motivated? How are you always so motivated? It's like, I'm not motivated at all, but I have the ability to work when I have no motivation. And that's the best. That's the only thing. The reason I'm so happy I finished my degree, the only thing I actually got out of college was learning how to work when you're not motivated at all to do anything.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, a lot of people will say stuff like, I know like it's a common thing I hear from like younger people that will be in my streams and stuff like, oh, I'm working on algebra. Jacob, you never use algebra in your daily life. Like, why do you do this? And it's like just learning how to learn and learning how to.
It's problem solving. Like obviously, doing advanced maths isn't gonna help an average person, but like a lot of it is problem solving, learning how to think.
Yeah. It's not directly going to be something you do with your life probably, but just learning how to walk in, get things done, learning how to meet deadlines, learning how to, articulate yourself, anything. It's all usable. It's just how much is the debate.
There's no question about that. To be fair, I am a teacher. I'm not going to sit here and say school is not important. Like I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher. Education's important. Like your specific grades don't necessarily your grades don't define you or your ability to like work. The grades don't define your life, but that doesn't mean school is not important. That doesn't mean education's not important.
100%. I mean, I think one of the things that's like a cliche that people say, like C's get degrees, but like there's definitely some truth to it. I didn't have stellar grades. I was above average. I was above average for sure. I passed through college and everything, but it's definitely not something, unless you're trying to go to medical school or become a lawyer, whatever it might be, like, do your work, and then once you get into the real world, you'll find your way. Kind
Hell
of.
yeah. Or you'll trip and fall
Oh.
in, or you'll trip and fall into YouTube.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how long do you plan on like doing this for? Do you just plan on doing it until you don't feel like doing it anymore, or does it mean like?
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's a weird one because like everyone always talks about, oh, would you not branch into this? Would you not branch into that? And I'm just like, I've fully accepted that, like in terms of like career wise, this is going to be the height of my career, of like my work career. So I'm just like, I'm making videos, I'm having fun. When it dies, it dies. I'll find something else to do. I'll work a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. I'll be happy. Like,
Yeah.
because I know so many people that are like, they're constantly trying to like, and it's just different mentality because you see so many of them are like, oh yeah, I want to work with these brands. I want to get on TV. I want to do all this. And people are like, even with like some of the 2K things, they're like, oh, why are you like, why are you like not signed with 2K? They can give you opportunities. Like any of the opportunities that I can get out of that, it's not necessarily anything I want. I don't want to work with these brands. I don't want to be a TV presenter. I want to talk about a video game. I want to joke about a video game. I want to have fun for the next couple of years. And when it eventually dies out, I'm going to look back and think that was a fun couple of years. What the hell am I going to do with my life now?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say where it'll go. I mean, like, you have it down to a science now. I mean, I don't really see any reason, unless you just stop enjoying it, that you would ever have to give it up. Like, my team, I don't think is going anywhere.
No.
It's going on, what, 8 years of my team. Like, clearly, I think that this is always going to be a thing. And as long as it is, you're probably going to have the opportunity to do what you're doing now.
Yeah, and
Starting early was great. You got into it at a great time, that's for sure.
yeah,
And stayed with it, unlike a lot of people who started back then. So
it's weird. A lot of people, you say that, but like, you're looking, like, I was looking back at like, there was a group of us that would have talked quite consistently. And it would, like, that group is like me, JD, Denver, Most Ballin', and one or two others that have stopped streaming, but it's like 50% have made it a full-time job.
yeah,
It's, it's
you know
such
what made me really put things into perspective for me? I just started. I had my little content thing back way before you even started, back in 2K11, 2K12, and YouTube was different back then, obviously. So when you leave for 9 years or whatever it was, 8 years, none of my old viewership carried over when I started again a year ago. So, sometimes when I'd be comparing myself to other people, thinking, man, this ain't going anywhere or anything like that. It's like, this is pretty tough. But then I started doing the history of videos for like the cards that I do on my channel. And I'd go back and I'd see all these people that are so far ahead of me had gameplays of cards for 2K17, 2K18. It's like, man,
yeah.
like a lot of these guys have been doing this for a long time. Like, that's a lot of time. Like, I have to make up for.
Like, there has been one person who blew up without being there for years, and that's like, we all know it's Ty. Like, and that's because he won the global championship. Like I think he'll say it himself. Like, he initially rode the momentum off the global championship, and then he kept into 2K21 as known as the best player around. Kept winning tournaments. Him and Nate both worked their asses off, and then obviously winning 250k. He's riding that momentum right now. Like, it's a different when you're at that skill of the game. But like, if you're looking for the likes of myself, I started in 2K15. Coming into 2K17, I had 2,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
I uploaded every day from March 2016 until January 2017. Did not miss a day. And I had not even 3,000 subscribers at that stage.
Yeah. That's out the mud. Like, the thing is almost everybody who would be in that position would quit, quit the consistency if they didn't see the viewership go up, or as long as they see some growth, it can keep you engaged. But like, grinding out like that is not easy to do, because a lot of people get into this and just want to the top, like Ty. But
it's never
Ty is one and only.
Ty is the like, obviously it was a little bit different back in the day with the Jesters of the world, because there was no real, like, there wasn't that many My Team YouTubers. There's like 20 popping up every single day, and it's like the amount of like I went into some guy's stream a couple of days ago. I'm not gonna say his name. I don't even know exactly what his name was, but he spams under comment anytime people are, he just starts spamming, "Come watch my stream, I'm a YouTuber." So I was like, you know what, I obviously it's spam, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go into his stream. And I commented something like the normal "show me your step back" or "do a 3-pointer" or something. And he responded with, Can you use your Twitter clout for good for once and get people to come into the stream? Like, not even, and like that's the first thing he says. I was like, what? And he just goes, I'm actually good at this game and people watch you instead. And I'm just like, what the hell is this? Leave.
That's the reason why you don't. That's the reason why no one's watching you.
I was
pal.
just like, leave.
Tell you that.
Oh my,
Yeah.
like, and that's the thing with, like, it's such a weird one, because a lot, like, I try to pop into streams and stuff, and there's a lot of like smaller streamers that like I'll pop in, and then there's some of them like obviously like you're starting to grow, you're not that far off being partnered. Like, what are you averaging? Like close 75, are you at this stage?
Yeah, I averaged 77 for a month, and then glitched reality happened.
Oh.
Numbers dropped down to I think 66 for a month,
Yeah.
and now I'm back to getting really close to being able to submit again. But I definitely had to let go of that, because once I was getting towards that, I was kind of changing my stream tendencies, and I just kind of want it to happen naturally rather than like, going out of my way to try and focus on having 75 in my chat or whatever at all times, because it's not worth it to stress over it.
It's tough. It's tough. Getting like 77 viewers is so, or 75 viewers is so difficult to have consistently. But like it's a weird one, because like whenever I talk to people that are, and like I wouldn't consider, at this stage I wouldn't consider you a small streamer. Whenever I do talk to anyone that's a small streamer, it's either really positive or really negative. Like, there was like someone like Jazz, who runs a podcast, Jaquel, Killer Josh, those guys all lovely. And then like there's people that are like, I'll be, whatever, the odd time they'll message me on Twitter, I might message back or something. And then like during the tie game or something, like someone raided me. I was like watching the screen. It was and the chat there was 100 people spamming "You suck, DBG" at every second. So I missed a raid, and all of a sudden it's onto Twitter being like, "Who does this guy think he is?" And I'm just like, dude, like, what the hell are you doing? And then like you've seen all the things on Twitter where it's like, if you look, there's a whole group like the smaller YouTubers that are like, "Oh, DBG's a bum." That it's just straight up insults. And like I'll type in their names and type in like DBG. I'm like, I'll be seeing them insult, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's like, you'll be there messaging me being like, "Oh yeah, it's whatever. Oh, it's great that you're messaging." And I'm looking, I'm like, you're literally just there insulting me in public. I'm like, let's just block. Let's just ignore. And then if I ignore them, they're like, he doesn't care about anyone. And I'm like, no, you're just an asshole. So
yeah,
like, if
I
you're,
mean, it's nothing to, it's nothing to just keep with the mindset of, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it.
But it's,
if you feel that way, that's fine. Just don't put it out there.
But it's the frustration with lack of growth. Like it's very easy to get in that way, where you see, like, I can guarantee you that there are people that they see my videos and the fact that I hit the record button and then I hit the stop record button and don't edit it and put it in and upload it, and that video gets views, and they might spend 3 hours on a video that gets less views. Like, I understand where that frustration is. But man, like, if you're gonna take it out on me, that is completely fine. But it's like, if you're going to take it out on me publicly and I see it, I'm not going to interact with you if you try. It's nothing to do with me. Who do I think I am? I think I'm bigger. It's like, I don't care what size we're. If you're an ass, if you're a dickhead, I'm not going to interact with you. I don't care if it's being seen as giving back to the community. Like, I like a lot of people in the community. I like you. I like that. Like it's evident the people that I do like. But it's like, I'm not gonna just bow down and be like, oh yeah, let's all support the smart community. It's like, if I like you, I like you. If I don't, I'm not going to. Simple as.
You don't owe anybody. You don't owe anybody anything.
That's
As
the
a
big.
content
That's the
creator,
biggest
no matter
problem.
what.
Is like there is people that feel that way, and like I reckon it's probably the same with Ty. Because obviously Ty came up streaming out of nowhere. There's people that probably feel like he owes them something. And for me, and because I stream, like it's different for like Henry and Carlos, because they obviously Carlos is doing his own thing, and I've always said what Carlos did was the smartest thing anyone ever did. Basically, give the finger to everyone in the 2K community and just say I'm doing my own thing. I'm just not even that. Like nobody has a problem with Carlos, but because nobody speaks to Carlos. Like that was the smartest thing, and like I'll talk to people I like, but like that was the smartest thing, because like I log on to like a 2K gamer, and there's people just constantly saying like I'm the reason the game's wrong. You need to go tell the devs, and I'm just like, what do you think I'm doing? Then I saw another thread. I logged back on for the first time in like a week, and someone tagged me being like, he's the #1 lurker on the website. He's just looking at this website to do this stuff. I wish he would post. I'm like, you're like, if you read what's being tagged about me, like you're not going to post. You're going. If you log in every day to see someone insulting you and tagging you in an insult, you are not going to want. Like you're not gonna be like. You're gonna be like, this place is toxic. Like.
Yeah, I've had to go to bat for you on there because people, 2K gamer, I don't know, I love it, but sometimes I don't like what I'm reading there. I think it's a really good form.
It is one of the best 2K forums. That's why I've contacted the 2K gamer Twitter page and be like, how do I delete my account? Because I just want to delete my account and look at it anonymously to see what the community are thinking about things. Because there's a lot of things in the community there's a lot of things I learn about that site. There's a lot of things because like sometimes I'm way off. Like my opinion on something's way off in the communities. So I like reading those things to think, okay, maybe I'm kind of on my own in this with this thought. But it's like
2K gamer is the biggest form out there that has a good majority where the players are at least competent.
Yeah.
Where
Kenny Mack
played the game for a while.
Like Kenny Mack came from there. 2KDB came from there. Like there's so much good that has come from, like that's one of the things. Like it is a fantastic forum site. It is not a fantastic forum site if you are me and having to click that notification button. And if I click on a notification, 70% of the time, it's them either telling me to ask the dev something, blaming me for every card having the curry slide, or just a straight up insult. I'm just like, okay.
I think that people probably overestimate how much pull you have in anything. You're not even a signed creator. There's a good chance that maybe some of the devs read or watch what you're asking for, but a lot of times there's going to be reasons that you don't even understand why it's not happening. And also too, it's not like you're the only one they're watching, you know, or listening to. Especially with Sam there now. He was very in touch with the community.
There's no question about that. And that's like with any of the things that are going wrong, I hate the way people have like started to blame Sam. And I'm like, anything that we know is wrong, I can guarantee you he's like, yeah, this is wrong. But like he doesn't get the full say. So at the end of the day, they all bow down, like they all have to bow to the almighty dollar. Like whatever makes them more money.
They're not director. They're not like Take-Two directors. It'd be like at my job with like what I do. Yeah, I might have great ideas about certain things, but if it doesn't get approval from somebody much higher up than me who's not working on the day-to-day stuff and seeing it firsthand, it's worthless.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
But like, there's a load of things people are just like, oh, whatever about a bunch of stuff. It's like, what? Or it's like, why are you complaining? They need to make the money. It's like fair enough. Like 90% of the things 2K are doing, just like the timer that they put into the XP, like it is to try to get people to buy more VC. But it's like you could. It's one of those things where it's like I accept it. Like we all accept it's happening. I'm still gonna be pissed off about it. Like I'm still going to be like, this is it. They're making the game worse for the money. Like, we all know why 2K are doing it. But it's like, I can guarantee you that that's not an idea that Sam or Mike Stauffer or any of those guys put forward. It's an idea that someone in the marketing team said, we can do this and make more money. And that's why it happened. At the end of the day,
it's for-profit business.
Yeah.
It's a for-profit business. 2K is not a charity.
Oh, definitely. Like,
It's a for-profit business.
Yeah, like, but at the same time, like the player base can be annoyed. Like,
Yeah.
like we can be annoyed if they're making the game worse for their money. But at the end of the day, that's not going to change what 2K are doing. Like, I don't understand why people... Like, the only time that I think that I've ever single-handedly affected 2K something was when I ranted about the Evan Fournier being put behind a paywall. That is the only thing I can ever say I've affected outside of, like, Dean Wade fan favorites. But, like, sure, even Ty got Roko fan favorites. Like, that's nothing. But, like, that is the only time that, like, any of my rant videos have made any impact was that. Because they realized, oh, crap, this could be a big deal.
Yep.
If the wrong person watched that video, it could have been a big deal. Like, that's the only reason, was because I pointed out something that actually could have been like, gone a lot worse than a DBG Rant video. But, like, other than that, like, no matter how much we complain, if something's not going to make them a profit, it's not happening. Like, first of all, we're not devs. Second of all, we don't even know how the game works, per se. We have our ideas.
They do sometimes.
They don't. We know the gameplay devs don't know how the game works, because they always talk about how the gameplay isn't developed for like, quote unquote cheesing or these demigods. So they obviously have never even tested how the game works with demigods, so they don't even know how it works, which is hence why the speeds that not mattering happened. But yeah, it's just a weird one where it's like I'm so lucky to be in the position I'm in, where where like people do see me as one of the like voices for the community, and like if there were any MyTEAM YouTubers that would actually have an effect, I would be one of them, who have the potential to. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not a dev. I would rather scream Yuta into a microphone than rant for like. Yeah. I just meme about cards most of the time. Like,
it's too bad that they don't have input. They should have a event, or not even event. It could be behind closed doors for all that matters, where they either fly you guys out or even just get you on a conference call, and whoever it might be, even 2K League players, they should take some input from. They should take input from Ty. They should take input from people who know the game more than they do.
They did put us on calls before the game. And I asked Mike Wang, how is stick shooting going to prevent people using modded controllers? And he basically said it will be impossible. His answer was just, it will be impossible to use a modded controller for stick shooting. That was his answer. I'm like, within 2 weeks there was ends. And like, all, like, the second they announced stick shooting, if you look back at my Twitter in August, I'm literally tweeting being like, someone is going to get a modded controller, and there is going to be modded controllers. And we all knew there were going to be Zens the second they announced stick aiming. And 2K said no. They didn't even test it. They just said, nope, there's not going to be Zens. And then within a week there was Zens. Like,
it can be frustrating where they put their resources.
Yeah.
Why?
Like,
what was the point?
Yeah, like, they ask, there is feedback. There is definite feedback, because there is like a assigned creator feedback type group where it's me and all the signed creators, which is a funny one, because and I'm the only one most of the time. Actually, no, JD posted it a bit. But like, I'm the only one who will ever post anything angry in the feedback, because I'm like, I'm not signed. You can't unsign me. I was like, I'm not signed anyway.
No, you have nothing to lose.
I have nothing to lose here. I will be like, thankfully, like, again, I don't think anything I've said is crossing the line, because I've never attacked a person. But I don't think 2K like me very much, which is fair.
Yeah, I mean, so someone's got to be the voice. Thanks, DBG.
Yeah, they don't.
Someone's got to be the voice.
They do not dislike me. I will say that as well. It is a mutual case of, they don't want me to be one of their like ambassadors, and they don't necessarily want me to work for them, and I don't want to work with them. But I mean, it's
like,
not.
Stalkers in your chat and stuff. Obviously, they like you. Like, but you know what I mean. It's not.
Yeah, like, it's even like with all the people in 2K. Like, again, like, on the the marketing side's based in Ireland. I know people are working there. So like I know a lot of them. I've spoken to, like the Constant Mitchell. Like I talked to these. frequently, but I've spoken to all these guys. They're all good. They're all good people, but like our two mentalities towards everything is different. Like they want 2K to make as much money as possible. They want their influencers to promote the game as much as possible. I don't really get any benefit for signing, and I would rather complain when I feel like complaining rather than having to worry about them, because like it's not in there. Like if I complain, they have to go contact me and be like, can you we don't like that video and all this stuff, and that would be 50% of my videos.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, just this weekend with the pack odds thing, I mean, that's a whole nother topic.
I got contacted by about 5 different signed creators saying thank you for making that video.
Mm-hmm. And I put the tweet out about it before I even saw your video go live, because I knew it was going to happen. When I noticed that there was
92, we've been all waiting for it for like months. We've been saying wait till it gets to diamonds. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And in fairness, somebody who's not even a MyTEAM, an NBA creator, went out of their way in the feedback group to post in the group a screenshot of that and seeing like, this probably isn't a good look.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is it shouldn't have came to this regardless, because it should have never been structured that way anyhow.
Yeah.
It was already so vague, but it was like, okay, we'll give it a pass because it's there and it's something. But now that everything's 100,
is that
it just doesn't look.
I don't know if that's legal or not.
misleading.
I don't know if that's legal or not, because there's some countries we have to show the odds. I don't know if saying and putting 100% chance, that's like saying on a roulette wheel, there is a 100% chance that you get a number. What are the odds of roulette?
Yeah.
It's 100% chance it lands on a number.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like I don't know.
It's 100% chance.
I don't know if that's legal.
It'd be such fine print. You'd have to the legal stuff for that would be so fine and like detailed, and whichever way, if for whatever reason the way that the law is written where that is illegal, then the law needs to be revisited, because clearly that's not the intention. And if anything, they shouldn't even have that page there. If it's gonna say 100%, it should just not even be there from a consumer perspective, because somebody could be tricked into thinking that there's 100% chance of something good happening where it's not.
Do you remember the Luka packs back in Season of Giving? So like if you hit triangle for like all the other players, it would be like available cards, and it would show all the available cards. But if you hit triangle on the Luka packs, it would say available draft day cards, and it would just show pink diamond Luka, even though there's only a 1% chance of getting that Luka Doncic card. So everyone just hit triangle, saw the only card there, didn't read the fine print that said available draft day cards, and all bought those Luka packs expecting the pink diamond Luka. But it's a weird one, because I know for a fact in America you don't need to show the odds. Like that page doesn't need to be there in America, and I don't think it needs to be in Canada. But there are some European countries where I'm not 100% sure. Like, when I was making a video being like, is this legal? Like, it was not questioning whether the legality in America, because it's 100% legal in America. But I'm pretty... I would be surprised if it's not potentially illegal in countries outside of America. What they did.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is the packs are going to be bought regardless. So they might as well just say it what it is. The packs are going to be bought regardless. Because everybody who's spending a lot of money on this game, to the point, the big people that actually, put in the majority, I'm sure the top 1% of spenders give them 95% of their VC. They know what the odds are looking like. They've done it before. They do it on a weekly basis, if not monthly basis. They know these odds are good. They know they are. So might as well just show them. Tell them what it is, at least. Like, why not? I mean, it just seems right.
Like, I'm just happy I haven't bought packs with VC since finals packs. That's because I was going for qualifying week 1 for 250. I've given up. I'm not paying a cent next year. Like, my squad builders, if I do an all-time set, I did an all-time 76er squad builder in 2k20 that got 10k views. I did a budget all-time 76er squad builder that had like Roko and some Sapphires in it, and I got the same amount of views, and people enjoyed it more because it was just a bunch of random low-tier players. I'm like, nobody cares about watching the best players anymore. I've just realized that. Like, I didn't record a single gameplay video yesterday, and I got more views than I have in months. In a month.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think that with the way the state of the game is there's not that much to be shown in gameplays anymore. I think the database killed gameplays in a way.
Yeah.
Because I used to go watch gameplays to see when cards would come out, 2K19. Okay, let me just pull up a gameplay real
What their
quick here to see what
animations
their
are.
jump shot look. Yeah, what's his jump shot look like before I buy this card? Let me see how does he what's his crosshair? Okay, cool. Now I can know that without having to do anything besides just load up the database. So
Yeah, 2K killed gameplays. And like I know some people, like obviously Henry's still getting his views, but like Henry was pulling in 100k views on big gameplays last year. Like I was pulling in 40, 50k. I'm down to like on a good gameplay 20k. Henry's down to like 30k on some gameplays. On some big gameplays, down to 30k. So it's a weird one. Like it kind of helps me in a way because I can basically just make news videos and speculation videos now. Because that's kind of the way my team's gone because of the amount of free content and everything. And that's the one thing is where I'm glad that I can keep this up for a long time is that if I really wanted to, I could probably make a living just chilling on 2KDB and wait until 4 p.m. to see what cards come out.
My team news guy. I mean, there's a market for it. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
If there's a market there for it, and you know how to do it properly, that's all that matters. And being able to adapt because eventually maybe, you know, you just don't know what's to come. But as long as you're able to adapt, like I don't see.
Yeah, like
that would be bad.
It's mad that Shake's not that guy anymore.
Because he was.
Shake was for so long. Shake and Nick. Yeah. Shake and Nick the Bulls fan were. For the longest ever time. Like it's a pity seeing like are there any of them that are still going?
I think, you know, Shake will sometimes still throw out a tweet or two about the new content that drops, but like as far as videos go, I don't think so. I mean, Nick definitely isn't. Yeah. Occasionally. He's still like technically like a signed creator to 2K, I believe, because he still has a Park logo and he'll still occasionally, like once every 2 months, stream off the NBA 2K Twitch channel.
I'm pretty sure they signed like lifetime deals. Nick, Sub the Gamer, Red City Boy. Or maybe they signed 5-year deals or something. But they signed like big deals. Like it's laughable how little they get paid. Do you know how much they get paid?
I think I've heard 2 different numbers, I believe.
It's got to the state, like, it's bad enough that even if they threw an extra 0 in the offer for me, I probably wouldn't sign it. Like, it's that low.
Yeah.
But I understand some people signing it. Like if you're going to sign it anyway, like if your content, like for example, Jay Canada. Jay gets free stuff once a week. His content is the least controversial. And his it's well edited videos. He's not going to make a rant video about 2K. Like
then there's nothing to lose really.
Yeah, for someone like him, it makes perfect. Like if you're making his type of content, you sign it 100 times out 100. Even just for the free cards, for a little bit of extra content, and for the fact that when events happen, you're guaranteed to be invited to them anyway.
I think it's something I've been asked before why I've done X, Y, and Z thing because it will kill my chances of being signed from 2K in the future. And like that would never be the goal at all. Like at all. As a matter of fact, I mean, yeah, I would prefer to make money doing this. I spend a lot of time to it, effort, and
you will soon. Yeah. I don't know what the hell is happening with the YouTube monetization.
I've waited since February, man. I don't get it. And the thing is, I just have no one to contact. At this point, I've kind of chalked that up. It's just like my channel must be glitched. I think it must be maybe something happened because my channel was formerly partnered with Machinima and monetized through Machinima. So maybe there's like...
Do you have an AdSense account?
Yeah, I've done everything, man, where it's like all of the dummy proof steps I've went back, triple checked. And it's got to be something with my channel being formerly partnered with Machinima back in the day. That's the only thing I can think of is why. But I would rather just get a rejection letter and an explanation, but it's just not going to happen.
But
that kind of killed my motivation with YouTube, honestly. Like, the thing is, it's not about money. It's just like
it's
that
not.
Was what I was.
If you can get a bit of money, it does. Like the difference for motivation $100 makes, because you can have in the back of your head being like, okay, I made $100, but maybe I can make, if I made $100 now, that's something. It's something that I've gotten out of it, and then maybe down the line that 100 could turn into 300, and that could turn into 1,000. Like, I know, I fully understand if there's no potential there, like it would kill motivation. Like that was the biggest thing when I was grinding every single day, gaining 3 subscribers a day. I was still making $7-8 a day off YouTube, and like that was my drink money. I drink once a week, and that's $50. I was like, or 50. I was like, that's my drink money.
There you go.
And like that got me through everything. That got me through those like really, really rough periods where, when you were like, how do you stay motivated? And that's why I was like, I wasn't working a part-time job at that stage, so if I wanted to go out on the weekend, I just about had enough money from YouTube, and I used to referee on the side, and I was like, that's what I did to make money.
Side gig, yeah. And I just prefer streaming on Twitch for the most part, mostly because I actually enjoy this game more than most people do. I go through my frustration stuff, but I like playing. I really do. I like playing the game, and a lot of my content on my YouTube channel is not based around playing the game. So, cards, talking about the history of cards, talking about how other people play, or talking about XP or whatever it might be. It's like I like playing the game. When I get off work, I'd rather play and stream it than I would spend that time making a YouTube video. So, just streaming more or less for now. It's still upload 3-4 times a week, but just what I enjoy at the moment. So
yeah, like I'm kind of the opposite. Like I'm not that high on streaming. And
well, it's different for you though, because you fire up and you're gonna get 1,000 to 1,500 viewers right off rip, and like it's not like you have like
that's the big
personalities in your chat.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, where it's like, when everyone talks about how great it is streaming, they're like, oh, it's great, you can interact with people, interact with them on a more personal basis. But like, I have people that are in my stream just so that they can basically catch a YouTube video early, or they're waiting basically for the YouTube video for the content. So why not just sit there instead of doing nothing? I'll sit there waiting for the content so I get to see it as soon as possible. Like that's why. Like it's the reason why I go from 3,000 viewers and I lose half my viewers the second I stop recording my video.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like it's a waiting room for content basically, and that's my streams, because I hate streaming playing the game, because it's just, you've seen my chat when I play the game.
Yeah, that's the bad part about it. For every 4 comments in your chat, 3 of them are nonsense for the most part. Like, to be very honest with you, it's just like someone trying to. It's just I don't even know how to describe it. You just have to see it if you haven't. It's just like
you're a mod in my chat, aren't you?
Yeah.
Have you seen some of the stuff that like gets blocked by auto mods?
Yeah.
That's like anyone who's not a mod in my chat, like some of the worst things you will ever see written, and not even like, some of it will be said about me, some of it will be said about other people, but like. It is like, I've been a mod in a lot of chats. Because Ty's growing, like there's always gonna be more toxic people. Like if you're like I've been modding Ty's chat. It's nothing compared to the toxic people that sometimes come into the DBG chat. Not. It's like,
I'm modding Ties and Splashes and them, and like occasionally you'll get something, but it's not like waterfalls of it like it is in yours.
It's not every 5 minutes. Like I'm just like, I'll be just sitting there on stream and I'll be like, there'll be times where I'll stop playing. I'll pause a game if there's no mods there to ban somebody in chat. Like I'm just like, I was like, the chat's going so fast. I was like, this can't be missed. Yeah.
That's the thing too, is yours moves so fast. It's very easy to miss something too, because like if you're not literally staring at the chat at that exact moment, it's gonna be.
It's gone
quickly.
Oh, like I do not envy anyone who has to moderate that chat, and it's the weird one because. Man, I used to I did like streaming, I will say it, I enjoyed streaming around Christmas where I was pulling in like 250 viewers,
Yeah,
and
I remember those.
I used to just do single karaoke streams. That was fun.
Yep. Making the white girl
The white
playlist.
girl,
That's a good
the
stream.
10-hour long stream where I made a white girl playlist for the whole thing. Like that was when
Yeah.
it was fun. But like I'll stream at the start of next year because like we all know my team's dead until about January.
Yeah.
So like
Which is unfortunate. It's unfortunate because I like it then, but
I don't mind it because it means I can relax a little bit. Like first 2 weeks are stressful and then it's just kind of relaxing time till January.
yeah.
But
I like the gameplay then. I mean, I like the gameplay more, but as far as like content stuff goes, it's definitely dead.
next gen was great at the start, and then the speed patch. The speed patch.
Yeah.
Like
Problem with next gen at the start is like the fades were deadly, but they weren't as deadly as people made it out to be. But there was issues with it. If they would have just fixed those instead of everything else, you got a really good game there. There's still one main issue that was a problem then, and it's the freelance setting stuff. But outside of that, you're looking at a pretty good game.
oh, I am the speed patch. The speed patch. I just can't get over. Like, why do taller players with the ball are the fastest players in the game?
Yup. Yeah, it's bad. Like, and of
But-
course, you can counter it with other offense, but defense is just.
But like anyone's just like, oh yeah, on defense, whatever, you need to get good, and it's like no. And like some pro-am guys would be like, oh no, if you're good on locks, like no, you can't because they move faster with the ball than they do without the ball. So you're gonna be faster dribbling than not dribbling, which means you just sprint by. Like it's worse than 2K18 in terms of
Yeah.
like if we knew about baiting lanes, if we knew about pinching in 2K18, we would have stopped the blow by.
Swinging out of the corners and switching down, stuff like
Like
that.
if we knew
Yeah, I
about
didn't really do that then.
this, we would have stopped the blow by better, and we're getting stops right now. Like there is no way that this isn't. And like 2K21, I think 2K21 next gen is more broken now, but I will give it some props that it did have like a month or two where it was fine, where it was fun. But 2K21 current gen, like maybe you could argue at this state of the game is probably better than next gen, but they're my last and second last place of all time 2Ks. With 2K20 slightly ahead. And like 20, what's up with people saying 20 is good now?
I don't know, but you hear. I think I know what it was. I talked about it in stream a little bit this morning. Actually, I think a lot of people just have like rose tinted glasses because it was like quarantine.
Yeah.
Well, at the very start of the year, it wasn't awful in my opinion, but once people really figured out deep hash and all that kind of stuff in tween,
I
it was definitely
I didn't
tough.
mind deep hash. It was the once tweening started, it was just game over. Like I didn't wait. Like people remember and being like, oh, I love 3 hunting with Wade. But my biggest thing was SBMM wasn't a thing. So if you were good at the game, you knew how to 3 hunt with Wade. You would be like, you would still win 90% of your games. But now in SBMM, you're only playing as other sweats. But if you played as a sweat last year and you were 3 hunting with Wade and you weren't splash, you were losing.
I mean, there's definitely levels to the Wade meta. You know, I knew a few people who were tough with Wade, to say the least, and I was tough at the game too, but they were tougher, and there is levels to it, but, yeah. The quick stop last year was good. I liked everything about the quick stop because you could still do the current or the next gen quick stop, which was called the Immaculate last year.
Yeah.
Like you could still do that, but then like what most people do is just flick down and do the peak.
Yeah.
And I liked the peak. Like I thought it was a good thing. I thought it was a good thing in the game. Is it realistic? No, but I like the fact that you can set your feet that fast. I think it's a good thing. If you can get your spots into your peak, then you're outplaying them. You got to beat them to the spot. It's kind of a basketball principle in a way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I will say about next gen that makes it the most frustrating part about it for me is, well, I changed the way I play on next gen because I just kind of had to beat him or join him. Like I went 12-0 pretty easily this past month in SBMM. Like,
do you not tank your record though?
I was, by the time I went 12-0, I was like 70-20.
Oh,
70 and
then you're in top.
25.
I was
So
like, then you're well and truly in
yeah.
top bracket SBMM.
I was like 25 and 20, and then I ended like 70 and 28 or something like that by the end of it. But the one thing I did different was all I did was just literally run with Simmons. I hate to do it, but that's all I did was just run with Simmons. So like do like a little like cancel out of a sig size up and then just burst and then do the same thing and go the other way, and then you would just literally run by them. Sure, I wasn't getting stops, but I wasn't missing. I was shooting 80% from the field minimum. Like, you know, it's just like you just beat them that way.
But
the biggest thing that frustrates me about it is the freelance settings. The pound the ball inside is the default, and it never, ever goes away permanently, no matter what you do. I've tried everything in the settings menu.
Calling time.
I've tried it all. The pound the ball inside just keeps turning back on every time, no matter what. Like if
I forgot, because adaptive coaching engine. There's obviously it must be your coach or playbook.
Yeah, I got bucks with D'Antoni. There was a way, because you know how you hit right on the D-pad or whatever, you get the little thing where you can cycle through where it's like pound the ball inside, play through star, run series, whatever it might be. It will always go back to pound the ball inside, which just jams your paint.
The adaptive coaching engine thing is so funny. The fact that it's not public knowledge, and we had to find it out 3 months later because someone posted in a 2K. Again, another reason why 2K gamer forums are the best is because the people on those forums do look into things. Like, that's where you do learn a lot. Someone said it. That's the Caesar made a video, and he mentioned in the video, adaptive coaching engine is broken. If you turn it off, it's just going to do random things. So I advise you to turn it on. But it's fine though if you turn it on. The game works perfectly fine. It's like, no, it doesn't. If you turn adaptive coaching engine on, the game decides what offense you play. The only difference is that I think that adaptive coaching engine on lets the game decide what they think is best. Adaptive coaching engine on just starts putting in random things.
Yeah, because he goes, yeah, you want to have this adaptive coaching engine on. It's been broken. Then after that, I think he said it's been broken for multiple cycles, which isn't true. And then he said, yeah, and either way, you're going to want this on anyways because it's going to help your defense decide when a player gets hot, whether they're start guarding them tighter. I'm like, no,
it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
I don't want that even if it did. I want my players to be tight and smothered on every player because we're playing with 99 everything cards, and if they're not, they're gonna get cooked. It doesn't matter if they're hot, doesn't matter if they're in takeover, it doesn't matter if it's Steph Curry or Bill Russell. You need to have smothered and tight defense.
The best is the funniest thing is where he was just like, I always say this, and he was like, our defense works perfectly if you don't cheese the game. It's like, so is calling a high pick and roll cheesing the game? Because if you attack the basket on a high pick and roll, the corner's open every single time. The glitch is both people out of the corner, so you just pick your corner.
Yeah, and like, it's just like one of those things where I just don't think that some of those guys are in touch with what is now becoming the flagship mode of 2K. Like, Park's dead.
Yeah, like
my team's bringing in money.
I'm convinced they don't actually know. Like, the game is not tested at a high level. They don't know what, like, the reason why they can't patch the game is because when the game's being built, they don't have good players playing it. So that, like, it's hard to patch some of the stuff out of the game, but when the game was being built from the ground up, I genuinely think they should have hired 3 or 4 competitive guys who's, like, you know, the guys that straight away, what they learn, what they try to do is break the game. The likes of MJs and stuff. The Ties of the world, the Jins of the world. They have the game broken in a week. I reckon they should have hired a couple of them to play a month of the game, break it as much as possible, and then come back, tell them everything that's broken, and then try to get them to fix it before the game launched, because it's too late once the game launches.
And, you know, because I'm sure he's a great guy, you know, but he's saying, like, well, if you don't try and cheese the game, it'll work perfectly. But the problem with that is people are out here playing wagers for money. There's 250K tournament. We have the 2K week now. It's no longer about not cheesing the game in order for it to work good.
Yeah.
It's about being able to combat that cheese.
Yeah.
Sure, if you're playing very casually, you might have a good product. That's okay. That's good. But the game is beyond that now.
Yeah,
It's
like,
not. It's no
if-
longer a casual
Yeah.
game for a lot of people.
Like,
It's
if
a
you're
lot of people's life.
like, yeah, like if you're playing the Nets versus the Lakers with your friend, both sitting on the same couch on broadcast camera, the game's gonna play good. But
It'll look great too.
it'll look great and it'll play great. But if you're playing this mode in any of this game anyway competitively, it's going to be a disaster. And I'm saying, even if they designed their whole game for competitive play, it still would play equally as well. I'm convinced it would still play equally as well for the casual players. Because if you made a copy and paste of NBA 2K14's gameplay mechanics and updated the graphics, the people that are playing on broadcast camera, Nets versus Lakers with their friends, will still enjoy it. Will still think it's a good game. Problem is that
casual players still play that stuff, you know?
Yeah. Like, as you said, you have NHL 17. Like, you have all the old NHL games. That's, if you're just playing with your friend, it's not going to make a difference. Like, they build in all these new features and try to say, oh yeah, these are going to be great for the casual players who will not notice the new features. And 90% of the time, the new features just end up leading to new exploits.
Yeah.
Like, they couldn't
They should spend their resources wisely.
But, like, they couldn't fix, and, like, even the way they're fixing things, they couldn't fix dribble glitching. So all that Mike Wang did was make it impossible to put the ball through your legs twice in a row.
Yeah.
It's like they couldn't fix. They didn't. They should have just removed Pro 8. They should have just removed Pro 8, like, where you can glitch through. They should have found a way so that you could get bump animations so that you couldn't glitch through bodies, but they couldn't, so they just removed an animation.
Yeah.
I'm like, fair enough. Like, it makes sense. Obviously, they have to get rid of it, but, like, you know it's bad when they can't fix something, so they have to remove basketball mechanics. It's like when they tried to remove 5 out in 2K18. They were like, well, everyone's cheesing with 5 out, so let's just not let them 5 out anymore. It's like, what? Like, it's not. It's your fault. You programmed the bad game, the 5 out's OP. 5 out's not the problem. It's the fact that the defenders don't know how to interact with 5 out.
Mm-hmm.
That was the problem.
Bumps just needed to be more frequent and more. Yeah, it's just the bumping in the game, just the way that players interact with each other is a problem, because we've all seen the bodies phase through people, and I think a lot of that's due to sliders, but you just never see much of actual beating someone to the spot and being rewarded for it ever consistently. You might beat them to the spot, you might get a bump steal. Great. If you don't have the Uggo on your side, ball probably just gonna go through your body.
Yeah.
Whether you're
Next
standing
gen's the worst. They will somehow Houdini the ball through your legs, and they'll push the ball out to the right through your legs, and it'll somehow Houdini back into their own path.
Come back.
Yeah, it'll come back, and you're like, oh, like, what? It's so funny. Like, I think, I did it at the start of the year, just a load of things, because you only notice it when you're trying to get steals for, like, Evos, or you're trying to get steals for XP, and you're, like, looking at the clips, and you're like, this is just some Houdini stuff. Like, what? They're trying to stop bump steals, and it's just like, I get it. They're trying to quick fix everything. Like, they said they built next gen from the ground up. They didn't. Because all the animations are the same. They're all the same.
All the animations are the same. Yeah, it's the same jump shot, bases, same pro dribble moves.
Except for Pro 5 and Pro 6, which...
Got 6 behind the back. They just trigger normal 1. Like, yeah. All right, cool.
Pro 6... Okay, Pro 6 and Pro 5 are the best behind the backs for pro and point guards. So now, instead of Pro 6 behind the back, Pro 6 now triggers a different thing. Pro 1 triggers a different thing. If you're too heavy to do a Pro escape, it just triggers normal 1. It's like, what? I was like, stop giving cards that can't Pro 2. Just give them, like, normal 2 or normal 1 or something. Don't just give them Pro 2s that they won't do it. Like, or
I think they just don't know, maybe.
I know for a fact they don't know, because what they did with LeBron James. So basically, LeBron James is 245 pounds, but he's 6'9", so it doesn't matter what weight he is on next gen, he can still curry. And you have to be 220 to curry on current gen. But 2K thought that you have to be under 245 to curry, so they made him 240, which didn't do anything. He was always able to curry on next gen, and he still can't curry on current gen. And you're just like, it shows they actually don't know how their own system of pro dribble moves works. Like,
there's no other explanation why they would drop him 10 pounds out of the blue.
Yeah.
There's zero explanation. Out of the dozens of LeBron cards they've dropped this year, what other reason would they just randomly put in a fudged weight? There's none. That's the only reason why, and clearly they didn't even do that right.
No, it would make sense if they dropped him to 220. Like, even though he's not 220, but just to make him Curry, because they did it with Charles Oakley. Was it Charles Oakley? They did it to someone on Friday where they dropped him to 220 so that they could Curry.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they did that. And, like, I understand, like, yeah, it's unrealistic, but look, it's to make them better in game. I understand that. But the fact that they dropped him to 240 for no reason just shows they have no idea of what's going on.
Yeah. They probably learned that day. They probably learned that day. Like,
yeah.
Probably the day they were like, oh, okay, so that didn't work. All right, let's try 220 now. Okay, it works. All right, nice.
Like,
and it's June.
Yeah. It's a weird one because, again, the people that are programming the game don't know how people that take the game seriously have broken the game. Like, I'm pretty confident that when I made that speed test video, that probably got sent to a dev being like, what the hell is this? Or devs that worked on speed thought, oh dear God, I didn't realize we've done this. Because they probably didn't test it. They probably didn't test it at all and realize that if you're small, you slow to a halt with dribbling. That, like, the most important thing for speed is height. Height is what's going to determine speed more than speed stats. On both gens, like.
I wonder if there's a way to fix it for 22. I just, that's the problem. It's like, it's the same thing. They didn't build the game from the ground up, so it gives me a little hope.
I don't know.
Like,
it's the mirror sand patch. Remember the 2k20 mirror sand patch? When players said players moved too slow, and then they patched the game, and Mirror Sand became the fastest player in the game. It's the same logic. Like, Yao Ming is faster with the ball than Allen Iverson is with the ball on next gen. So why the hell would you ever use a small point guard if Yao Ming with 58 speed with ball, 68 speed is going to be faster than Allen Iverson?
Yeah, and if you want to make it there, the way that it was that a 99 speed Iverson was slower than a 99 speed Yao. Be like, yeah, that sucks. It's not right. Okay. Game's probably not made for 99 speed Yao Ming's on the court. Okay, whatever. But since it's not even that, since it's 68 speed Yao,
but it's not only that. It's 99 speed Muggsy Bogues is the fastest player in the game when he doesn't have the ball in his hands. But when he has the ball in his hands with 99 speed with ball, he becomes slower than the 25 speed Yao Ming with the ball. But without the ball. But Yao Ming, taller players get faster with the ball than without the ball. Smaller players are faster without the ball than with the ball. It doesn't make sense. The speed with ball stat literally does nothing. Like, I've tested it out with all the players. Speed with ball stat does nothing. And on both gens, height and running animation are the only things that matter. Lateral quickness doesn't do anything. Like, to an extent, like, obviously a 50 lateral quickness player is going to be slow. But, like, if a player has 90 lateral quickness, I think it's a reason why we talk about, say, like, Kawhi's defense in such a big way. It's like, even Kawhi with 90 lateral quickness probably has animations, which give them better lateral quickness than someone with bad defensive animations with 99 lateral quickness.
Mm-hmm.
And, like,
I wish that there was a way we could see those animations in writing, so I knew what I was going after, because
but I'm not.
Danny Ferry got Kawhi's animations defensively.
Yeah.
Though.
But then there's the stutter run on current gen.
I don't even know what triggers that. I don't play current gen. Never an issue. And
no one knows. Some Giannis cards have the stutter run, some don't. Bol has the worst stutter run I've ever seen.
Did Magic lose his stutter run on his Dark Matter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He lost his stutter run.
And it wasn't the quick dribble style because his Opal still did it.
Yeah.
With quick dribble style. It wasn't the Magic Johnson dribble style, which I thought it was at first.
Yeah. No, it's the stutter run. And then also, I'm trying to think who doesn't. Yao Ming doesn't have the stutter run for anyone on current gen.
No, if we get an invincible Yao Ming, he's going to be better than he was in 2K20.
No, he won't.
On current gen with the burst.
Sorry. On current gen, yeah. On next gen, no.
Yeah.
On Kareem will be the best on next gen. Actually,
yeah, that's why I'm piggybacking my MT. Unless they come up with something super silly like Minute Bowl with Pro 2 and Quick.
Yeah.
Like,
you know who I actually still think, like, I think is going to be my starting center till the end of the year is James Wiseman.
I got rid of Wiseman. I
love Curry based
awful. Yeah, offensively, he is top center. defensively, he was struggling in the pick and roll pretty heavily against the Duffy Dashes of the world and the Breezies of the world. Like
Oh yeah,
those guys that use PNR better than 99.99% of people like out there. Like
I mean,
he was getting chopped up.
there's so many .9s that you might as well say 100% because they're two of the 5-6 best.
Yeah, exactly. Like the only person who plays good enough hedge defense and can recover fast enough on those pick and rolls that I'm comfortable running with at the moment is Dikembe. He's the only one.
Yeah, Dikembe is
That's why
different
I'm
though.
really struggling with backup center. Right now I'm using Bull as my backup center. So it's like those are the only two that I even feel comfortable with hedging pick and rolls against
Bill Russell.
top comp. Bill Russell, yes.
I like Bill. I use Bill
4
Russell at center. I use Bill Russell at the 5 and Wiseman at the 4. That's what I do. I think Wiseman's way better at the 4. And then
yeah, because right now I'm running Bill and Dikembe. Am I starting?
Yeah, I have a
4
weird.
and 5.
I have a weird theory. Height matters for point guards. Height doesn't really matter for two guards. You can use a 6'5" two guard. You can't use a 6'5" point guard.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. Lately, I've been running stuff like Simmons, and then at the 2, I've been running people like I don't know. Well, I've been running Pete there a little bit, Elgin, Ray Allen, Michael Redd before we got Ray Allen. I've been using a lot of shorter 2 guards this year, but I bought Invincible KD to do my XP to get Luka.
Oh, he's the
which
best.
I got today, and Invincible KD made me sell my out of position Giannis with 57 Hoth badges, including range and blinders, because I had no plans of keeping him. I used him, and I was like, you gotta stay, buddy. He gotta stay. Like here, you can't go.
But there is a great opportunity though for a tactical downgrade there though, from that Giannis. Like, please tell me you tactically downgrade to the right player.
Well, I got Luka, so.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I was about to say, I was like, if you're obviously you have Simmons, and I was like, if you sold Giannis, you definitely don't have LeBron. I was like, if you have anyone not named Nick Batum, I'm gonna get angry. Like if
Nick Batum is who I used in the meantime in that lineup.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. I was like, if you're on next gen, and you have a point guard that isn't Luka, Batum, that isn't Luka, Simmons, LeBron, or Giannis. So if you don't have Luka or you don't have the 500k, and you have anyone but Batum, I will be angry. And
Josh Smith, I think Josh Smith has an argument, but he just doesn't come with blinders, and that's why I took Batum over.
Yeah. Actually, Josh Smith is Josh Smith is a shout. I prefer Batum, but that's a good shout. Yeah. Or
he's cool, just no blinders.
My bench lineup: Simmons at the 3, Larry Bird at the 1.
That Simmons at the 3 is not talked about enough since they updated Sigs. Like, it's crazy how good that card is, even at the 3. It doesn't matter where you have him on the 4. He's so good this year on next gen. It's unreal.
Use him as your primary ball handler and turn Larry Bird into a cone. Larry Bird gets ridiculous defensive animations, so he can guard the other team's best player with his 99 everything. And his jump shot off the dribble is horrendous on next gen, but off the catch it's unbelievable. Chucking him in there and getting a 10k MT Ben Simmons just because people don't want him a point guard.
Yeah.
People want him a point guard. Like, the only difference on next gen is the fact one can play point guard and one can't. These hot zones don't mean anything.
I mean, obviously, you look at the stats, the Pink Diamond has more stats.
Yeah. Even half range. Half range does matter, but half range matters on a Luka. Half range doesn't matter on a Simmons where you're turboing to the basket every single possession.
Yeah, I mean, what matters more than half range is just getting them into sharp badge. With gold take and sharp badge, you're shooting from anywhere inside the half line anyways. It doesn't matter. You get that sharp take and you got platinum range.
You can't get him on the sharp take though.
Oh, does he not have this? He probably has a little deduction and 3 ball.
85 3. You can't. No, you can't.
Do it with Phil, but
no, you. Yeah, you could actually. It goes to 90. It goes to 90. It goes to 99 with Phil. Yeah, and Phil and floor general.
Yeah.
But why would you lock into a million MT for Colonel Sanders?
I don't know. It's one of those things where if you have an insane amount of MT, insane amount, be my guess, but like for any other reason, no. The only thing that he does at this point in the game is just give Giannis sharp badge. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Like literally it.
Do you remember the Discord call when we all found out about Phil Jackson? We all found out about the Opa coaches, and we were literally like, it was like, this is either going to completely break, because Ronnie said stats go over 100, and also, Ronnie said all gold badges go to Hall of Fame, and we were like, this is going to break the game. And then Stauffer has to come into our chat, into the stream, being like, no, this is not true. Do not spread this. This is not true. There's like 10,000 people in there, all being like, game over, game over. And then as Mike Stauffer said it's not true, we were all just like, so wait, these give plus 10 3-pointer to a card when every card basically is a 90 plus 3-pointer now, and it doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, these are worthless.
Yeah. Yep. Like in an ultra competitive setting, getting sharp badge on Giannis might help you. I saw it happen in a tournament. I think where he was playing. I think it was like Authentic Breed and somebody, and so this was when they were pretty new cards, and I think it was Radioactive Giannis and Radioactive Giannis with sharp badge just took over that game. I was like, dang, man. Giannis with sharp badge is pretty deadly, but other than that, I haven't seen one point in time through all the hundreds of games I've played since those cards that came out where it's like, oh man, like Phil Jackson would help this, like never once.
Because I know, they gave that info. Like I wasn't one. Like this is actually one of the few times I wasn't one of the people that got the early info, because I'm pretty sure I get early info because I'm not a signed creator. I'm pretty sure I'm like technically part of their like press team. So like, the way they give info to the press, I'm pretty sure in the UK, the DBG YouTube channel is part of the press, whereas I don't think, like say in America they'll give it out to Forbes, they'll give it to all the gaming websites. I don't think there's enough of them in the UK, so that's why I think me and JD get them, because I think we are technically part of the press team, because there's just no press in this country, and it's why the Spanish ones get it as well. But like the one time I didn't, and I know everyone who got told about the Phil Jackson thing was like, this is going to be a disaster.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get more Dark Matter coaches by now, honestly.
Yeah, you were probably hoping for Chuck Daly, were you?
Yeah, Chuck Daly would have been cool. And also, too, somebody on 2K Gamer again found that they had face scans for 3 coaches in the game at the start of the year even. That are historic coaches, and it was Larry Brown, who was the 04 Pistons coach, and I want to say, who was the guy that coached the Nuggets back when Melo was there?
No way were they going to give a George Karl out.
Yeah, it's George Karl and somebody else. So
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. He's not very well liked, so I'm shocked that they would have given the George Karl out. Yeah, I think that was just for historic rosters, like so for the Pistons. But in fairness, did they actually have face scans, or was it Colonel Sanders?
Like, they were good face scans. They were like the Larry Brown one is the one that I'm most familiar with. I mean George Karl, kind of like a.
They had George Karl in the old 2Ks, so it's not like it's hard to get a face scan. They would have had a George Karl face scan from 2017, like.
2017. Yeah, because like the Larry Brown one would be like the one that I like most vividly remember is my favorite team ever. He coached them. Like it looked very, very accurate. Yeah, it looked very good.
Then how the hell did they get Phil Jackson's one so wrong? And the best part about the Phil Jackson one was when you hit the triangle button to see what the reward was, and it said Phil Jackson, and you were looking, and you're like, who? This is not Phil Jackson. Who is this?
That was so.
Who is this?
That was such a funny day when that happened, man. To fix them, they were like, "Here's a pair of glasses," like or whatever they did.
Oh, I need to get this picture. Get this picture up and show it up on screen. So basically, if you guys were not here for this stage, if you went and pressed triangle to see what the rewards were, this showed up on screen. Oh, you can't see the picture, obviously. Well, I have you. It'll say your name is Dale on screen, by the way. If you don't, I didn't want to make a new graphic, so you're Dale. But yeah, Colonel Sanders up here.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the day it happened. I'm trying to find a picture of it on Google right now, but I'm
If
just
you
seeing
type in
like the base card.
DBGYT underscore Sanders on Twitter, I tweeted out. But yeah, we had
Yeah.
Colonel Colonel Sanders. It's not even like he didn't even look that much like Colonel Sanders. He looked like more like Colonel Sanders when they put glasses on him. Like everyone was joking
Yeah.
saying he looked like Colonel Sanders, and then in the end, he looked more like Colonel Sanders when they put glasses on him.
I just I don't even know.
Like
It was such a weird thing too when those cards came out. It was like they made it such a big deal, but didn't put that much thought into it because like the stats were glitched, like didn't look good in game.
3 of Phil
It was
Jackson's
just,
boosts were 3-pointer, and it turns out that they didn't stack. So 2 of them were literally nothing. Phil Jackson's boosts initially were like 3-pointer, 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 offensive consistency. It was like stats that didn't do anything. It was like IQ, or shot IQ was another one. It's like, what the hell is this doing? But yeah, I got a good video out of it. I'm pretty sure I had one of my best ever titles.
was it using Colonel Sanders just like that in 2K?
No,
I forget.
I had it may cost 2 million, but it's the worst lock-in reward in my team history, with a picture of him, and then I put a big KFC logo. I also had, if you lock in for this card, you're either crazy or have too much money.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I think has to go into that sequence back then.
I have to say, season 5 Mick had some great titles.
What was season 5? Age of Heroes. Yeah.
Yeah, I spent 2 hours grinding for this card because he has horns. Was one of my titles.
Yeah, those card arts made for a lot of like funny things about each one, you know.
Yeah,
I remember you loved the Patrick Beverly card.
Yeah,
art.
there was a lot of good ones. What was it? There was something stupid like I spent 2 hours grinding for this card because he has Hall of Fame ice in his veins. When D'Angelo Russell had
Yeah.
ice in his veins.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of these videos, bang! I got 71k in a Ray Allen video.
Like I said, I wonder where this game would have went if the following season after that wasn't
The start,
completely awful.
the peak was start of season 6. That was the peak.
Start of glitch reality.
Yeah, up until the out of position set, where they had the out of position set, and then the weekend where you could grind for a lot of players, and up until then, that was the peak for my team. Then after that, I kind of died. It's picking back up though, which is good. Season 7 kind of helped.
Spotlight Sims was great. I think that was huge. Like
Yeah.
they needed that in order to recover even slightly anywhere back and towards the upward trajectory. Season 7 overall was good. Huh? It was good. Full Throttle was good. I just don't know about this season though, because like I'm not really too keen on the whole like get Luka as fast as you can. You might want him. I did. So now what, 2K?
I think it's because there's limited time on all the XP. So if you don't get him fast, you're just not going to be able to get him. Because I think the season will end and there'll only be like 200k available XP. I think this season will have the most XP, but I think it will have the least XP available at one time at the end. Like
Yeah.
50k XP is disappearing every weekend. Every Friday,
Yeah.
50k XP disappears.
The thing is, though, a lot of that XP is pretty easy. But
Yeah.
the thing is like they shouldn't lock people into having to do stuff like
Yeah, like
they should, but shouldn't. I don't know. It's like
my whole thing was like, especially with how long. In fairness, I thought Luca was going to be like a 40-hour grind. I didn't think it was going to be a 10-hour grind. Like I didn't realize Luca was going to be this easy to get. But I was just like, straight up, I sent in like a freaking 500-word basically essay to 2K about everything that was wrong with the devlog.
yeah. But to be fair, I don't think it's a 10-hour grind without boosting. Well, I know it's not.
Let's just say 12 hours, like give or take. It's not like it's not longer than
Yeah.
15. If you have all the cards, it is
But
not longer than 12 hours, even if you're slow.
That's exactly the problem, though, is in order to do the grind, I had to buy and sell back 3 invincible cards. I had to walk in George Gervin. Like, that's not something that most people can do. So
Yeah,
I'm
but you can
curious
do
to
it
see
next.
how-
Like even if you didn't do all that, there's still 50k coming on Friday, and there's still going to be 10k throughout the week. Like you can get it. It's a 6 week season. If you like, it's easy. If you want to get it by week 3, you'll get it by week 3.
Because a lot of the other stuff from like what was the set? The Gladiator set was pretty easy. You know, like 21 points with Eric Paschal gave you like an egregious amount compared to other seasons or whatever it might be. Like it just wasn't tough. 23 pointers with Clay for 4,000 XP. Like,
speaking of the Gladiator set, that's one of the worst sets we've ever seen in my team.
You take away the invincible cards and the season drop.
Actually, sorry, yeah, invincible cards, yeah.
Yeah, you take away those though, like the actual for June, yeah.
Like, it's almost as bad as Enshrined. Enshrined was bad.
I think it was even in Enshrined. Ray Allen.
I like the Enshrined though because of tactical downgrade set. It was just tactical downgrades of all the like big names.
Trying to see who else was in Enshrined. I forget now. I mean, I know
it was
all
like
the big names.
It was like Scottie Pippen, Ray Allen, Magic Johnson,
Dr.
J, who is just RJ Barrett, but right-handed.
Yeah.
And the one thing anyone who ever says, "Oh, he's got higher speed, he's got better lateral quickness," I've proven that it doesn't do anything. So you can all shut up in my comment section. You've seen people where it's like so many cards you're like they're the exact same card. Like it's like Kobe Invincible versus Kobe Galaxy Opal. If you look at these stats and you're like, you will not notice a difference between these two cards. Anthony Davis Dark Matter versus Anthony Davis Pink Diamond. You will not notice a difference.
I think the thing is I keep having a lot of people in my stream ask me, who do you think's better? And then throw out like 2 high tier cards, and it's like, dude, it's just preference.
Whoever you prefer their release. It's like, for example, Bam Adebayo. Base 62 is my favorite release on next gen, so I love Bam Adebayo. I love the new Tristan Thompson.
Is that Thon Maker base?
No, it's Michael Porter Jr. base. It's Lionel Simmons base.
Okay.
But I used Lionel Simmons for so long that I don't miss with Bam Adebayo. So for me, I was like, Bam plays just like Bill Russell, just slightly worse. So when I was saying Bam was a mini Bill Russell, everyone's going berserk. It's like, he's like, his release is broke. It's like, and it's my favorite release in the game. It's like, I'm going to give my opinion. It's like, I'm going to give my opinion. Yeah. And that's one of the things I hate, where it's like, everyone's just like, oh yeah, you're so wrong. It's like, well, this is my opinion on the game. Like, if you give me, there's a reason why, like, if you give me the best cards in the game, I'm not that good. And if you give me bad cards, I'm the exact same.
I thought that explains something. Because I thought Bam had 47, which I think is Thon base.
No, Bam.
So I was trying to time my shots with Bam like it was on, and I wasn't really hitting. So maybe that's why I wasn't that good with Bam.
It's 62.
Yeah, I thought it was the same as Thon. I guess not.
62 is like one of those. For me, it's one of the best ones. I like weird releases on next gen. Like I hate Klay Thompson. I hate Klay Thompson base with a passion.
It's slow. Even on very quick, it's slow.
I just think there's weird hitch. I'm trying to think of whose releases that I like. Gallinari base is one of my favorite on next gen.
You can have my Irvin card for free because I hate that base.
You hate Gallo base.
Oh man, it was so bad yesterday when I was trying to get that XP done with him, man. I was just bricking shots. Like I couldn't find the green window to save my life with that base. I didn't mind it too much on Boris Diaw. I didn't mind it on Diaw, but I don't know. I was not having much luck with it yesterday on Gervin at all.
I'm trying to think of what release I like. Trey Burke base is one of my favorite on next gen.
I can see that. I don't mind Burke base at all.
That's why I like Crawford so much. Exum base, I don't like it that much on Luka. It's a weird one. I use Luka today. I prefer Exum base on. My favorite Exum base is still Antoine Jameson. Antoine Jameson is still my favorite Exum base.
Oh, nice. I agree. Definitely. I didn't get to try Kermit, but I agree with Jameson. Like, Exum, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna say anything bad about it because I just spent 14 hours of my weekend grinding for this Luka card, so I don't want to get it in my head that I don't like it. But I will say I prefer Allen base.
Yeah, I do like Ray Allen base, but I don't like Ray Allen. I think the upper is the most underrated thing ever on a card. Like like Ray Allen. You've got Ray Allen very quick on Jerry Lucas. I couldn't green a shot when I tried to shoot with him. You have got, for example, some really good Ray Allen based players. I hate. I'm trying to think what release that I really like because of their upper. J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith versus Kevin Porter Jr. Just the fact that one's right-handed and one's left-handed. I green everything with KPJ, can't green with at all with J.R.
I'm like, I'm kind of in the boat that I think that uppers are underrated for sure, especially when first trying the card. I think if you force yourself to use a card with a certain upper for long enough, you'll find that one spot where you're comfortable.
I think it depends on where it depends on where you look for the shot. Because I know some people look at the feet, some people look at the arms.
And then Dale closes his eyes and relies on muscle memory.
If he's not chucking up half courts, that is. Oh no, if he misses, it's a full bar. It's always a full. Have you ever sat with Dale when he's like grinding spotlights?
Oh, of course.
Every 5 seconds, full bar. It's like, no.
He said that he lost. He said he lost like 30 games in a row.
30 full bar. Everyone was a full bar. And it's just like, I was like, you know what? Maybe 7 were full bars. It's like I'll give you if you said you had 4 in a row that were full bars, because that can happen. There is no chance that you're full barring like that amount. But no, Dale on form is tough.
100%.
Like when Dale's at his best, like in practice for FIBA, he was class. He was class.
I played a lot of park with him and stuff. Even on delay, we played a lot of park, and you know, we've played a lot of friendly games. Obviously, it's just through delay and stuff like that. But yeah, no, he's definitely valid. I know when he was getting ready for like 250, he was like scrimming all those guys like Larry Brett and Vardo and those guys, and like he was neck and neck with them.
Yeah, he's not. Like he'll say it himself, he's not the greatest when the pressure's on.
Mm-hmm.
When there's pressure, like in 250, like he wasn't. Even when he was before he got knocked out, he wasn't getting the quits early. But like even in FIBA the first time around, he hits 2 shots and he gets into his rhythm, and he's a serious player. But that's like, but it's a weird one for 250. Like I'll play 250. I will never sweat 250 again. The closest I ever got to qualifying for 250, technically,
was when you like 30th or whatever from just like using random cards. You plan on doing it, right?
I finished, my highest ever finish was like 11 or 13 in 2k20, and I beat the Uric 111 guy that kept qualifying. My team was like Baron Davis, Dion Waiters at the 2, who was 6'3", and like his team was, I can't remember who he had at the point, but he had like Tracy McGrady at the 2, Ray Allen at the 3. Like he had like I can't remember who he had at the 5.
Squad for the
yeah, he had the best team you could possibly have in 2K20 at that stage. And I had Amethyst Andrea Bargnani at center and Giannis. The Giannis free card that you got at Christmas at power forward. And like my bench had like 3 rubies on it. And I finished like 13th or something. Like actually no, sorry, I didn't. I barely made top 50 that time. But I beat basically 3 of the best guys in Europe on the road. The closest I ever was when I broke into the top 10 with an hour to go, and then I matched up with Vardo when I was using Scalabrini, Jameson, Bonga at point guard.
Yeah, you probably, if you get down to the last hour, 250, you probably know the majority of people you're playing, huh?
It all depends. Yeah. Did you watch Carlo's run when he was like 3rd place with 20 minutes to go, or 30 minutes to go, and he got stalled 3 games in a row?
I was traveling that day.
But he got stalled, and he started messaging people being like, "I'm about to qualify, can you please quit?" And they just took all their timeouts.
Yeah.
I made him wait the whole time.
You're better off to stay silent than ask, honestly, if that's what you're hoping for.
Yeah, but like the guy wasn't going to quit anyway, so he needed to quit. If the guy played out the whole game, he was done. He needed to quit. He needed to quit by halftime. If he got quit by halftime, he was fine, and then the guy just stalled the whole time. But like once he got to halftime, it was over, and that was even just for him to get a slight chance.
250 qualifiers need to be reworked next year. 100%.
Yeah,
it was bad this year.
There should literally be like a pre-qualifier. The qualifier should be on a weekend. You should get like 5 hours to play as many games as you want in the qualifiers, and whoever gets like the highest ranking points gets put into like a qualifier, and it's a straight elimination tournament until 4 remain. Like you can get a bad draw, but it's a lot more fair.
I think, well, especially with multiple ones, it's like try again next time. And I think that you could come up with 10 different ideas to do the 2K50 or 250K qualifying system. And I think that they all would be better than what the current one is.
I think it's the worst possible way.
I think it's literally the very worst possible way, unless like
they made it worse,
which was like you're randomly gonna draw players or something.
They made it worse, which is the funniest thing. It was so bad in 2K19, but in 2K19 it was 16 weeks and only one person qualified each week. But at least when that was the case, if you error coded 4 times, you still had another 12 chances. If you error coded 4 times this time, you've lost. So I remember I tweeted out. As soon as it was announced. I was like, there are less opportunities. I was like, we all remember that the first 3 weeks, the person that was leading with an hour to go error coded. I was like, if there's less opportunities, which means if someone error codes a certain amount of times, they're basically out. And everyone's like, oh no, it's the same at the qualifiers. Like, no, it makes it more and more like your error codes. And luckily enough in 20, the error code wasn't a problem. But we know in 21, we know that Jin got error coded twice. Jin got error coded twice, then faced... I'm trying to think who Jin faced. He faced Skip one of the times, who qualified 17 different accounts. It was going to be Ty versus all of Skip to My Lose accounts. And then that was like... And obviously, I think Jin, week 4, I don't think he could do it, and he was out. And then we all know what happened after that. But
yep.
There's
some other stuff I've heard that there was some more fishy business going on in that tournament that most public knows.
Like, I know. Like before the whole tournament happened, remember when they didn't know the difficulty, and like there were so many things where it was like when Ty made his video, he was like, You've asked for no proof of anything, so how can we confirm that someone's not going to play on a different account? Like, because I don't think anyone knew what specifically was going to happen, but everyone knew that. I think people were shopping their spots. That was something that we all knew, that people were trying to sell their spots. No one knew who was going to play. No one knew who was buying the spots, but we knew people were looking to sell their spots. Yeah,
and honestly, like for me, from my perspective, it's like don't hate the player, hate the game type thing. Yeah. Like it is what it is. Like there's a lot of stuff I've heard. Don't know if some of it's true. Don't know if some of it is. I'm not gonna hold any grudges against any of those guys at the end of the day. It doesn't involve me. And at the end of the day too, I'm happy that Splash and Ty played in the finals. That's what everyone wanted. That's the 2 people that I thought were the best, 2 people that deserved it. I think that they're the 2 best players. So everything in the end,
it worked out.
Did turn out okay.
I think it would
almost makes me more scared for them not fixing issues going forward.
Yeah, like I think the worst thing that would have happened was if someone who had someone else playing on their account went the whole way and won one of the sides, and then the person who clearly wasn't good enough ended up playing like Fly Guy Rye, like Fly Guy Rye versus Splash for the 250k. Imagine if that had happened and it was a double 50 piece. Like,
yeah, I mean, oh boy, yeah,
that would have been the biggest disaster because everyone knew there was something was up when he beat, was it Justin by 40?
Yeah.
Nobody had him coming out of the first round. And then when he beat Deeds or when whoever, I'm not sure who was on the account at that stage, beat Deeds and Justin by 40. And it's like, no. there's something wrong here.
The thing is, there was so much action going on that day. I didn't really think too deep about it until
Jomar.
Until
they beat Jomar.
Yeah, until they beat Jomar, then I was like, wait, hold on. Like, then I was like, okay, wait, what? Like, what happened?
But like obviously we know the whole situation ended up happening when they got disqualified and everyone's like, someone's playing on the account. Actually, we were all in the chat and we were like, there is one person in the world that is capable of beating Jomar by 30. And like obviously when no one was surprised when news came out of who it was. And like looking back on it, that's just a flaw in the tournament when you've got probably the 3rd best player in the world. I reckon probably Splash Ty the 2 best, and then Jin would probably be right there and could have won the whole thing. Like Jin could have beat Ty. for him to not even qualify and then end up breezing through the whole thing.
That exposed what?
A lot. It exposed a lot about the qualifying system. The qualifying system is not the best 16 players, and like the guy, he's a lovely guy. So I will have no problem. Like, I don't think he'll take it the wrong way. But Panda Wings is not very good at 2K, and he qualified.
Yeah.
And he I beat him
I'm
with a budget squad.
I'm not mad that he qualified at all, because at the very least we did get a classic quote out of it. Him saying that he'd buy 2K.
He'd buy 2K22. Yeah. If he won 250K, he would buy 2K22. Yeah, you're right. I mean, we also got the buy some income quote from Fly Guy, right?
Yeah.
It was obviously a typo, and I didn't realize it and just copied and pasted, because I remember looking at his DMs and was like, yeah, he did say he was going to buy some income.
Well, he might have got a little income for that opportunity at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's actually not a bad player. Like, I've been watching him in a few tournaments. He's actually doing pretty well. But like,
yeah.
Like, obviously, look, everyone has a different opinion on the whole situation, on whether certain people were in the right, whether certain people were in the wrong, whether the punishment was too severe, whether it was justified. Like, everyone has a different opinion on that. But all we can say is that none of it would have happened if 2K had a proper qualifying system. Had a decent qualifying system.
Yeah, like, that's what I say. Just hate the game, not the player. Yeah. Like, this shouldn't be, if we're with this much money on the line, this shouldn't be what it comes down to. It just shouldn't be.
Yeah, like obviously you can't, like, for me, I can't, like, condone someone basically cheating to try win 50K, but they shouldn't have had to be in that position. Mm-hmm. Where they shouldn't have had to be in a position where they could make that choice. Like, it should have just been like arguably the third best player, arguably the best. You could argue Jin's the best player in the world, arguably the best player in the world. There should be no scenario where that player doesn't qualify for the equivalent of the World Championship, which is a big problem. So this is I've been keeping you quite a long time. This is about 2.5 hours. So hey,
it's a good little podcast, you know.
Yeah, this has been the longest one. In fairness, it was the new season started. It was the new season starting, and then the thing with, like, if Dale's here. In fairness, but we've had these exact conversations about 2K about 50 different times. It's like, oh yeah, should get an extra person in. It's like having an extra guest. Anyway.
Yep.
But so we'll end it there. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.